Hey everybody, how are you doing tonight? Sorry, I'm a little late tonight. It really is my fault, but I've got Sergio in the green room, so we're not going to leave him hanging dry there for too long. But thank you everybody for the birthday wishes on Facebook. I have to tell you that, but we've got a few things to open up after some like the midpoint of the show. I've got a few things here, and a really great card I got from my mother that I want to read to everybody as well. It'll embarrass my mom as much as it embarrasses me when I read it. But let me bring Sergio here into the show. Hi, Sergio. We got all those technology problems worked out.
We did.
So when the news of Al's passing happened last week, I mean, you were really the first person I thought about wanting to maybe get a few words from. I wasn't really thinking doing a live stream, but the more I thought about it, I thought it'd be really nice to bring you on and talk about Al, because like I mentioned to you when we talked on the phone the other day, Al isn't somebody whose artwork we get the opportunity to talk about too often. As much as I admire his work, and so many of us have fawned over his work in Mad for years. He's not somebody that comes up in conversation a lot when we're talking about original comic art and the things that we buy as collectors. And so I felt a little bit not prepared or to be the right person to talk about Al's life. And I was glad when we first got in touch that you said I needed to read one of his biographies. And I have much better insight into Al's life now. But so I appreciate that. I really do.
Well, yeah, Jaffe is. It's so many things that put us together. Because I was in Mexico, and when you start and I couldn't make it there because the pace were very bad, and they didn't like so much cartoons without words. They like more of the political agenda for the cartoonists. So my field was the United States to try there. I went there. I tried different things with not such a good luck because all my cartoons were without words.
Mm-hmm.
And I Mad magazine. So I said, well, before going back to Mexico, I'm going to Mad, because everybody I went, they said, you should go to Mad. So I went. And luckily, Antonio Prohias, who does The Spy vs. Spy, was there. And he introduced me to the people. And very fortunately, I was in. They bought a lot of material, ideas for the covers, a 2-page thing. And I was in. And one of the first cartoonists I met was Al Jaffe, because I didn't have a place to stay. So I have stayed in sometimes I stay at the office. They let me there to stay. So it was a great reception. They became like my family. And Al Jaffe, I didn't know his work very much because in Mexico, he was not syndicated. And as you talk, even in the United States, a lot of people knew his work. And I knew Mad Magazine very well in Mexico, but I didn't speak any English.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with the colleagues in high school and tried then to translate, and they couldn't. But one of the things that I admired was the drawings of Al Jaffe. He had created so many distinctive art. And then when I met him, I asked him more about what he did, and he showed me his book about the tall tales. And curiously, I was doing the marginals, which were little tall cartoons. So we had an immediate rapport. He was from Europe. I was born in Europe. I grew up during the war. He did too. So everything was like a brother, but no, like a father, because of the difference of ages. So he treated me so well. And we became very good friends. Even he was my roommate in one of the Mad trips, the famous Mad trips, when Bill Gaines, who was the publisher, every year he took the cartoonists, the writers, the editors, the art director to trips, all paid. We went to African safaris, we went to Europe, I don't know, dozens of times, to Tahiti, to Haiti, and the Mexican trip I organized it. And Jaffe was my roommate about it, So we really went deep into our field of cartooning because he loved what I did, and I understood exactly what he did, and we had a lot of things in common. And I had the freedom to ask him what my mistakes. And he understood that he could tell me, directed me. He was open, and it was great. It was a great relationship, even though we had a big difference of age. I was in my 20s and he was already in a little older. So we continue our friendship to the last day. As a matter of fact, his last birthday, a few weeks before he passed away, every birthday I will sing to him. I will take my guitar and sing in a Mexican song, the happy birthday song in Spanish. And this time, a few weeks before, I couldn't play the guitar because I forgot how to do it. So I just sang it to him, we laugh. And that was it, it was a great loss, a great loss.
I remember in the biography that it mentioned that you were worried that he felt maybe that you were kind of stealing his concepts because he didn't use words in his strips like you did as well. And it's just amazing that the two of you found each other on in Mad Magazine with such a similar approach to your work, and even with Prohias as well. I mean, someone who didn't use words in his strips either. I mean, it's just those are the things that made Mad Magazine so much fun for us as readers.
Well, we had a great advantage over many other cartoonists that our work sold all over the world because they didn't have to translate anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did the pocket books, the Mad pocket books that Bill Gaines, the publisher, started with reprint material, when he came to us, to Jaffe, Prohias, myself, Don Martin, and Dave Berg, to do these pocket books, ours sold incredibly all over the world. Al Jaffe's broke the record because one day he came to the office with a box of T-shirts that says, "My copy sold already 1 million copies." He was the first one who passed the record of the pocket books with 1 million sales. So we wore his T-shirts. This is 1 million copies, Jaffe. So he was loved all over the world too, and it was maybe because we came from Europe, maybe because we had a trouble with the language, or because we wanted more people to understand what we did.
Mm-hmm.
I love pantomime. He did too. We discussed many times about Marcel Marceau and to the advantages. And our idols were the same people that we have loved from antiquity, because when the cartoons that we love, there's a lot of people in the United States didn't even know, and the majority of them were French. In Europe, the humor without words is prevalent, because if you are in France, you can sell to Germany, to Italy, all over, and make a better living. And I was fortunate that what I did hit. And the best thing was to have a friendship with Al, because I could only do cartoons. I never study art, and so I'm not that good with color or things. But he was. I'm so used to say he is, and he is forever, because his work will last forever, ever.
Without question. I mean, and he seemed to really draw on a lot of things from his childhood that made their way into his work, as far as just the way he viewed the world, I wouldn't say a sarcastic view, but just a critical eye on life. And I think that kind of made its way into his strips in many ways. He questioned things. I mean, the whole idea of the fold in was made because he couldn't do a fold out, right? He couldn't do what Playboy was doing and have a centerfold or something, because it cost too much money. So he thought about it. How can I do something as interesting as that? And he decides I'm just gonna fold the page inward. I mean, he was such a creative guy.
Oh, and creative is not the word, my friend. He, every time he do like a cartoon about how to do stuff, you read the cartoon and you follow the details, and you can make that piece. It works. he had a mechanical mind to understand how things function, besides not only the humor, but he created a sort of like a building to store parking cars, and automatically go to floors. Of course, a few years later, they invented it. He had already published it in Mad. Not only one, he had invented a lot of things in Mad that they were later created. Oh, what a mind.
Wasn't there something like the smokeless ashtray was his idea? And then a few years later, they had one.
Absolutely. And the way he drew them, they were perfect, and so funny, so many. And he had a thing with how they call it, the Tall Tales. That was the book that he did with the tall cartoons. But besides the fold-ins, he had a thing called the Snappy Answers to Stupid Questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were so clever, so clever. And there had been something similar in very early, probably in the 20s. But it was not the same. It was somebody, when they asked him a question, "Are you fishing?" The guy thought it was very funny. He says, "I am in the moon looking at stars." It had nothing to do with the logic of the question.
Right.
Al Jaffe, being incredibly clear, he had not only one, but 5 or 6 answers related to fishing or what he was doing. He was a mind that very few people have. It's extraordinary cartoonist besides. And he could do color incredibly well. And he did comics, even long before I read comics. He was already drawing comics, which later, in a few years, I was fortunate to do too. But I couldn't draw serious like he did. He could draw realistic art, which, amazing man. No. And I can imagine the troubles that he did, because I was fortunate that when I was very young in France during the war, as refugees from the civil war in Spain. But he was already older, so he had to face death on the killing camp, because being a Jewish man, and his mother was very religious, and they were in places who were completely devastated by the Nazis and killing the whole town where they came from. That was horrid. And he surpassed all that, make a perfect living. He never got mad at anything. He had the best sense of humor. He was one of those gems, individual gems that existed. No. What a friend.
Yeah. And he seemed to have that wit even at a young age, I'd say. It seems, probably, which is kind of amazing. And it's amazing that he made it to the United States and was able to get to, but he always had an artistic bent, I think, was what I read. And he also had I wouldn't say architectural, but he was a good woodworker and things like that. I think he knew how things fit together, and maybe that's why he was great at inventing things that ended up becoming reality.
Also, one of the advantages he had, which inculcated on me, because I absolutely understood what he was saying, says research.
Mm-hmm.
Research. When you're going to draw something, see how they look, because people like to see and feel that they are in that place. So he was a really a man that influenced the way that I looked at things. Because when I was drawing cartoons, I just drew it like that. But as he was telling me, says the details, and then as you grow old and then you start doing your own things, you realize what he was saying was, don't take away the readership, the reader out of what he's reading. A stream of consciousness when you're reading a novel is that it's so well written that you get involved in the plot in a book. On the comic book, the same thing. You're reading a comic book about something, and you are reading the book and understanding. When something is badly drawn, your interest on the story departs and says something was not there, which is on the movies.
Mm-hmm.
A good movie allows you to see the movie perfect. You are following it. You are believing. You are following the plot. And suddenly there's a bad editing, and your brain automatically cuts from the story to the bad cut and interrupts that stream of consciousness when you follow the movie. Same thing with the cartoons. He never allowed you to went away from the story. He was perfect following. Boom, boom, boom. Always. And that is probably one of the reasons of his success, more than anything else, is that you couldn't say, well, that couldn't happen. You know, you look at a silly thing about picking up dog poop, that instead of drawing the poop, he will draw little sausages. And he invented so many ways to do it that you could believe that they could work, you know.
Well,
I never thinking, oh, that's stupid. No, that was so logical. In humor, oh, it was, and he'll be there forever. I mean, no ways. Once people discovered his work, they will never stop looking at it. You know.
No, he was an absolute genius, and I saw there was Brett asked a question about did he draw Patsy Walker? He did draw Patsy Walker for Timely, I think, and I think Stan Lee hired him to do that. I know he wasn't fond of it. But it was work, right? So, but that was the thing. He seemed to always be employed. That was, he was always in demand. He was quick, and his artwork was very distinctive, and it was really what a lot of publishers during that time were looking for. But so I'd say that that was a good thing. I mean, he was paid rather well for the times too. I mean, as far as creators go, and I many times in the biography he mentioned that page rate, which is what comic artists are still paid today. He wanted to draw as much as he could. The more pages, the better, he always said.
Yeah, no, I was surprised at the paying. Matt was paying when I entered an enormous amount of money compared to what I was getting in Mexico. Not only that, even in the United States, Matt was one of the highly paid magazines. So we were lucky that we encountered that field. But his advantage among everybody else is that Matt was divided into writers and artists, written by, drawn by.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with Jaffe, it was written and drawn by Jaffe. Even though he didn't use words, he created it. So the writer was him. You know what I mean? You couldn't have plotter or thinker or gag thinker. No, it's writing. You are writing the story there. And his advantage is that he could take any medium, and he knew it. He knew colors, he knew aquarellas, he knew oils, he knew the system to draw comics, the system to do pantomime cartoons, spoke languages, and communicated very well. He was a complete artist. When I'm not an illustrator, and they asked me to do an illustration, I says, well, I cannot do that because I don't know. I say I'm very busy. I don't want to say I don't know how to do that. I just says I'm too busy to do that. But he knew. He did everything: advertisement, everything, sexy women. He could do everything. He was fantastic, man. I'm very fortunate. He had a lovely family. I will miss him so much. But he lived more than everybody else, so that's great. I mean, he had a longer life. That's terrific. It
is kind of amazing because he worked up until didn't he did his last work for Mad about 3 years ago, or maybe even less.
Yeah. It took longer, like everybody else. I mean, you and it's mental, because we talk a lot about it, Al and I, about age interfering with the work, and we realize that that the work, the more you do it, the better you become at it. That's a logical direction. And what we arrive to the point is that the older you get, there's a cartoon of Bill Gaines. Look at him. And when you fold it, of course, it's going to be Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, I mean it's just amazing, and I was curious always, what was his process, but he said that he actually folded it. He drew the folded version first, and then opened it up and figured out what he could do to fill in the middle, which is amazing because the middles are so detailed, and I didn't think that. I was thinking that he was kind of working from the center out, but he wasn't.
No. When he did it, is that the great beauty part of the whole thing is that the inside that he drew after was related to the drawing that he finished with.
Mm-hmm.
They were totally related. A lot of people try to do that and they can't because they don't know how all the research and everything that he's done to put it in. He knew about everything. So that was a great advantage that he had, and everybody in MAD loved him. I mean, he could, if they had any trouble with time or anything, who they called? Al Jaffe, because he could come with the best materials all the time. Oh no, great gentleman. Spy, look at that.
Yeah, I had this one here because this was one of the fold-ins.
Yeah. MAD is doing another issue. They did an issue about him, a special issue, all dedicated to him, to Al Jaffe. It was a great honor. He loved it. I don't have it at hand right now, but the whole issue, the MAD, with the new people, the majority of material. Oh, that's one of my. That's it. That's very good.
And I do have your. Yeah, this was the issue. From August 2020.
Yeah, and
I mean, here was yours.
That's a mad look at him. A mad look at Al Jaffe. Like in this one that I knock at the door of his apartment. That one, and Al Jaffe says, "Can I use your bathroom?" I said, "Sure, go ahead." So I go to the bathroom, and the toilet paper is a folding.
I'm sure he loved that.
Oh, he laughs. Yeah, and in here it's the one below, which a lot of people they won't see if you go a little the beginning. There, a guy looks at him and is fishing. And says, "Are you fishing?" So he goes, "No, I'm holding a guy who's looking for treasure." Oh, he gets mad at ha. I tease him with that. Then suddenly, and then he goes to MAD and sells them the idea to do a snappy answers. And I drew our director, John Putnam. This was before the change of this was probably in the 60s. And Bill Gaines, Feldstein, Jerry DeFuccio, Nick Meglin, the art director, John Putnam, and Lenny Brenner, the production department. And there's he's selling them what he just did, So
it's an amazing the group that was working together during that time too. I mean, how that had to have been the most fun place to go into, just to see what people were up to and what new artwork and writing was being done. I mean, I can't imagine how enjoyable that must have been.
It was terrific. For instance, John Putnam, the man with the white hair next to the guy with a red shirt, his name is John Putnam, and he was the art director with a blue suit. And his mother was Ninon Wilcox Putnam, the woman who wrote The Mummy, the movie.
Oh, wow.
So he was an intellectual. He spoke languages and translated books from French to English. And everybody had such specialties about what they did. Nick Meglin was a writer, an artist. He knew everything about opera and about illustration. He was a great illustrator too. And the whole team really made MAD what it was. From the origins from Kurtzman, that's all okay, to the making the magazine so popular they sold in the millions. So they knew what people to use and everything. No, it was a fantastic group. And so I use the silly elements, for instance, in this cartoon that you have here. Al Jaffe goes to the barber, tells him something here with his hair, and then you go to the next panel, the barber is working, And when he comes out in the next panel, his name is on the head because that's how he signed his cartoons, with his name as hair.
Yes.
Ay, 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 my dear friend.
Well, he had to be very proud of this one.
He liked it a lot, yeah. And I use him when I did Gru, I used him as a character in one of my issues. He was called La Mocosa, and he was like a he liked that a lot. He laughed plenty. And here is the same thing. We're having lunch, and Jaffe, and that's Dick de Bartolo with a big mustache, and then that was in the more modern times. That was John Ficarra, the new editor, and then myself, and then we finish having dinner. We pay for him, and now Jaffe leaves, and he's himself a folding.
Oh man, that is awesome.
Yeah. And then the vignette that I did, of course, I make his desk folding too.
I didn't even notice that when I looked at this. I missed that entirely. That's great.
Yeah, it's like.
Now he was doing the fold-ins, but he was still doing a lot of the illustration for the interiors as well. I mean, he was really busy. I mean, I'm impressed with how much work you put out, even into his 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's just amazing.
And that's one of the conclusions that we have, that with age, your works get better. I mean, it takes longer now. For instance, when you're making a line, and he talked about that a lot. About that before, he will go a line and immediately. But as he grew older, like I am growing older, we have to spend more time putting attention where the line goes. Because wait a minute, that's not where I wanted to go. So you pay more attention, so you take longer.
Mm-hmm.
But the creative, as every time we get together, that's where we talk about it. We never talk about sports or anything else but cartooning, and that was it. Is that if age makes you get better, and yeah, but you have to consider the that's another good cartoon.
I like this one too.
The little kid. No, don't fold. You're folding all the photos. That's bad. You're folding all my newspaper. You're folding all your work. And in my, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Keep doing it. Keep up the good work. Exactly. Oh man, that's funny. Out of curiosity, when you draw something like this, Sergio, did you draw it all on a single board, or did you do these as spot illustrations and they just kind of put them together?
No. I draw a large. I put the whole page together.
Oh wow!
Like when I draw the comics, is the same thing. You draw large, and I have never used a computer except for what we're doing right now,
mm-hmm.
or for research. But the drawing, I still do it on paper. And we're doing another issue for Jaffe as a memorial that he passed away. So I'm still working for Matt. I have to do a whole new set of marginals, like that one. That's all that living, death, walking.
Yeah.
And one of them goes to the supermarket for a bottle of ketchup to eat brains, But,
one of the things that I know Al excelled at was drawing like large crowds. I remember that he said that in the biography a few times. And so it just played so well into scenes like this, right? I mean, where you've just got,
total.
I don't even know how many people are in this one. We're not going to make a contest on this, everybody, but that's what made Mad fun, was seeing these kinds of illustrations. You loved seeing these huge crowds and trying to go through and figure out if one was a celebrity or somebody that we should know. And you parodied everything from House here.
Yes. Readers, pay attention to the equipment. Maybe it's not how it works, but it works if you follow the guy with the yellow hair that is doing push-ups over there. If you put that machine down, that thing in top will move. And if you pedal that will push that thing that he cranks. You can see the little thing holding the piece. Crack.
Oh, yeah.
She spent so much time making it workable. Not only the perspective, but the research about how things look, the oxygen tank, the scale, even though that it won't work in the cartoon, it works as a cartoon thing. You know, the little springs on the bicycle seat makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This thing with a bar depends. It doesn't really work, but you could swear that it makes it.
I mean, yeah, this is
When
more
the lady puts this bar down, this will get lower, and then he will get up, and he will do the exercise. That will function.
Mm-hmm.
You can build that machine yourself. It's just amazing, man. You know, what a mind. What a mind.
Yeah, that's it's incredible. It really is. I mean, and again, these are fun and they really to me defined Mad in lots of ways. I always looked for these scenes because there's a real famous one where they're at a comic art show or a comic book convention, right? And you just have all different personalities and people looking at comic books and you know, characters doing cosplay and stuff. I mean, it's just fun and relevant to the world. I mean, everything that was in here was always something that the common person could relate to.
Sure. And the thing that you will come to realize is how much he enjoys his work. You know, it's not a man that goes and checks or says, "Oh, I have to go home now and to relax." He's at home drawing and enjoying every second of it and laughing as he draws. You know, look at that. That was a Jaffe, a Meglin joke.
That's so funny. He didn't mind making fun of himself a little bit, did he?
Never. He was part of that world that we cartoonists lived on, you know, and it's very different. We don't consider it work. If you ask Jaffe, hey, how much time you spend working, doing work? Zero. He hasn't worked a day in his life because everything that he has touched, it was fun. Many of us, same thing. We learn from each other. Cartooning is starting looking at a cartoon that you like his work. I love an Argentinian cartooning called Oski. I started drawing like Oski when I was a kid. And then I saw the cartoons of a gentleman who drew the little king, Otto Soglo.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to make it a little simpler like he did. And then I get, and there's other cartoonists. One of my biggest influences, Virgil Parch, which was a great cartoonist. In the moment I discovered Virgil Parch, I started doing the noses like Virgil Parch. So you start following your idols and slowly changing your style until it becomes your style. Not only me or everybody's.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have your idols. Like actors have their idols, like engineers, they must have their idols. But it is a following of what they do. And then you do your own, taking a little from everybody because that's your teachers. It's like if you want to be whatever, your teacher will tell you this is how it is done. Same thing with cartooning. The only difference is nobody tells you how. You just take what you feel you can use.
So when you guys went on those mad trips, I mean, were you guys roommates by choice, or was it you know, or did you guys just end up last two left, so you ended up being in the room together?
No, we change all the time, so you could meet each other in a more personal basis because it was really like a family with Matt. I mean, I was very glad when. Sometimes you says, "Oh, I want to join the Prohias because I have a lot of history knowing his work since I was a kid." Because I look at magazines, and my father had a subscription to a Cuban magazine that had a page of his. So the first thing when the magazine came home, and I will look for the page of Antonio, he had a character called El hombre siniestro, the sinister man, you know. And he was the meanest character in the world, and I loved it. You know? So when the first thing I did in Mad was ask for him. And there he was, and we talked Spanish and became also a very dear friend because I follow his work since Mexico. And when I discovered Mad, the Don Martin, I love his work, you know, because it was the craziest thing I saw. I love the artwork of the other guys, but I couldn't read it. I will go to ask people about what it meant, and then they will tell me that. And slowly I learn English, you know, with like you learn languages, you know, because my first language was French, so it was hard, but I learned English, and I still have trouble with it.
Well, I remember, in the biography it talked about how Al really loved those the Tall Tales strips that he was doing that I showed originally when I was showing some slides, and the reason they were I think they were in like 50 different newspapers across the world. Yes. because they had no dialogue in them. That's and right. The moment someone suggested he put dialogue in them, that's when it kind of was like the downside of doing that strip, because it worked so well universally without language in it, and the moment you injected language, it became harder to understand. It changes his creativity a bit when you're letting the words tell the story.
That's right, because I remember when I started reading the comic strips in Mexico, they were in Spanish, and I couldn't. One thing we don't have in the language, we don't have puns, because our words are very specific. So you cannot play puns with Spanish because it doesn't work. Here in English, it depends how you pronounce things, how many words are pronounced the same way, and then you can make puns and things like that. So we don't have puns. So many of the comic strips, when translated, the guy who translated was paid pretty bad. He would write whatever and didn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. So he says, this is so well drawn, but that cartoonist is stupid. I mean, how can he think that that's funny? And I had a completely wrong, and until I read them in English, I said, oh my God, these are funny. But when that happened to a strip, imagine the guy in Italy now that putting words to something that it won't work. So he puts whatever he feels like is funny in Italian. And Italian probably is not even a funny joke that you can say, that's Al Jaffe's joke. Mm-hmm. And so when it happened to many of us, it happened to me. I went to a lot of magazines, and the first thing they did, I presented a joke. I said, they will look at a joke and they says, where are the words? And it says, no words, it's pantomime. It says, what do you mean pantomime? Yeah, no need to words. No, we don't publish these things. This is too crazy, go to Mad. So that was one of the things. And I've been working like 60 years in Mad now, and I have used probably 10 words in my whole life with it. The same words: exit, help, hello, or something like that. No words. Right. But pantomime is excellent. It's a great medium, and fortunate Jaffe and Don and Proias we're knowing, thank God, all over the world. Yeah. Because of the lack of, because now we can communicate without any words. And the problem here in the States with the new generation, there's so much material that they get in the computer and magazines, and they look at something and they don't understand it. They skip it. They go to the next thing. They don't spend the time saying, wait a minute, what's he trying to do? That search doesn't exist anymore. They go for what they can understand faster. So right now, if I had to start my career, probably I'd be a failure.
I don't know about that, Sergio.
Well, the comics have been my salvation too, doing Gru,
So, well, without question. I need to have you come back. We could talk about Gru too, but I've always wanted to talk to you about that. And so, with regards to Al, I'm just kind of curious, when you first met him, I mean, was he very open about his approach to humor, or did he just kind of be like, this is it? Or was he funny all the time?
he was such a professional that we could talk about our craft. We didn't went into the humor of it because each person has a sense of humor and how you arrive to a solution of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so we arrived many times to it. But when we talked, it was the relation between pantomime and cartoons with words. The sacrifice that, and many things we didn't understand, either of us, and we talk a lot about it, is that the system that you do a gag and they give it to another cartoonist to do. That happened to me at the beginning, and I couldn't deal with it.
Right.
I wouldn't sell a cartoon if I went to Squire magazine and they bought a few cartoons and I didn't want to sell them because they were want to give them to another cartoonist, because I didn't know that was usage here.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaffe and I, we talk about a lot of that he had been approached, I haven't, but many people, writers have approached him to write gags for him. And he has said, no, I don't need a gag writer. I come with my own ideas. And there's a lot of people who make a living selling ideas for cartoonists in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And they send them 20 gags just written, and then you buy some and you pay if you sell it. But Al Jaffe never did.
He never
Didn't have to ever in his life.
Well, he was an amazing man. That's for sure. I mean, and probably never be another person quite like him. I mean, it's just an amazing sense of humor and approach to his work. Yes. And his life story is really impressive, everyone. If you've never read anything about Al, and I hadn't either, I actually did an audiobook. I hate to say it because I listened to it while I worked, but it was fantastic. I mean, and it was focused primarily on his younger years, from say from a child till he was in the U.S. in his mid-teens, but those were the things that were really formative for him, and really I think defined his sense of humor and his matter-of-factness. There was a lot of commentary about how he spoke to his relatives who he got moved around to very often, and how they didn't think he was very funny because he said whatever was on his mind. And but that's what paid off in the end, was being a very blunt, with his humor and with his thoughts, and it all stemmed from his childhood. And I really enjoyed it, and I don't think we'll probably ever have a story quite like that, for an artist or a comic illustrator ever again. I mean, just a very unique man who lived in a very, very, very charmed life in a lot of ways. I mean, like you said, he really got all the jobs he probably ever wanted, except for Sally. Or what was the story? Now I just forget what it was. I wrote it down earlier. The Patsy Walker. He hated Patsy Walker, but he did it for the money. But
well, you have to do a lot of things for that reason too.
Yeah.
But one thing that we talk about it is learning the American way. Even he grew up since he was a kid and then take away and come back. There's a lot of things that we have to learn that is not normal with other kids. When you are in class, you listen to them and you understand that they're more with Jaffe, that their life is so different than the other people. So you have to mold yourself to it, and he did extremely well. There's a great photo of him and Bill Elder in high school, clowning, both of them going like that as kids in junior high in the school there it is. Look at him. That's Al Jaffe.
Here, let me get that one back up here for you. Right there. Wait, nope, wrong one. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
There we go.
There, look at him, Bill Elder and Jaffe. Look at him. High school.
Exactly. I mean, they had a sense of humor back then, and I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, that's Will Elder and Al Jaffe, and they went to they were fortunate enough to get picked to go to this special art school in New York, and when they were seniors in that art school, I think it was Kurtzman was a freshman there. And so they were all kind of in the school at the same time. They all had met, and who would have ever thought that they'd all end up at Mad, years later. But it's just amazing that they again, that they found each other in a place that was really specialized. I mean, they basically had to take these an artistic test in order to get placed in this school, and it was for music and all sorts of arts. It wasn't just for illustration, but amazing. And again, so very fortunate that he ended up where he did, and meeting the people that he did. And yeah, I saw this photo. I had to pull this one to the side and show it. I was waiting for the right moment, and you reminded me of it.
Yeah, no. And also Feldstein was in the same school, and so was Harvey Kurtzman.
Mm-hmm.
So everything connected, as you say. And
yeah, it's so ironic that they were all there at the right time. I mean, it was as if they were meant to get together and work on Mad.
Oh yeah, wow. Oh yeah. And when you're roommates for 10 days, you know an individual better than if you just know him at the office. And we changed roommates many times so you could really know the other guys. Some of them I never roomed with, but I roomed with Jack Davis. That was amazing.
Oh, I can't imagine. I mean, Jack Davis is a hero to me. I love
it. What an amazing human being that he is. And no. It became a family, a Mad family. And Jaffe and I, we were like, I don't know, like I say, like an uncle that you can rely on,
Did he ever, look at something and say you could have done it better, yeah?
In the beginning, many times, because you learn as you're doing. There's no such a thing as a humorous school for cartoonists. That doesn't exist. You can study art, but if you are not a cartoonist at heart, you cannot be a cartoonist. There's no. They can teach you how to draw funny, making a larger nose and expressions and speed movements. But how can they teach you a sense of humor? That comes with sometimes, in his case, having the difficulties of the difference between his mother and his father, staying in one country and going to another. The only one you can stay sane is with humor, and making fun of things. Because if you don't laugh at something, the other solution is to cry about it. That alone makes him a unique individual in his field. And if you like movies, you can associate his life with many directors who had suffered during the war, and that change had made them be. Billy Wilder, one. I can name a few that, because of the problems that they have growing up, had made them understand a way to do not only humor but interpret life. So many things you don't learn in school. And cartooning, gags, the way we do, that's not taught on school. They can teach us how to draw comics. Yes, that's a whole system. Some people like Jaffe and Elder and all the people who started before they were cartooning in schools, they were how to draw comic schools, for they were sort of like not rip-offs, but they were sort of like if you didn't have it, you could not become a cartoonist no matter what. But Jaffe surmounted all the problems related to religion, to family. He went in another world, completely different. He didn't have to stay there. There's people who live on the pain, they live on the trouble, they live on what happened to them, and they can never let go. Al went to the other world, made fun of things, enjoy life. Things happen, and you cannot fix it. It happened. It happened. So he took the perfect road to live happily and to enjoy the now, the people. Oh, it's he was spiritually and physically an amazing man.
No, I mean, I completely agree. And he, I'm just reminded of many things in his life. The whole, like you said, I think he last saw his mother when he was 12 or 13. Had to move to the U.S. with his father. Got passed around during different times with other family members. I mean, yeah, I mean that's you could really miss the opportunity to pursue your gifts and things. But Al didn't seem to ever do that. He stayed very focused and true to himself.
Totally. And I would recommend to the viewers, you guys, if you have a chance, go to Amazon and buy his biography, because you will really enjoy a human being. It's a terrific books.
I'll share the link with everybody too, so in case they wanted to pick up a copy. It really was a good read.
And get all his pocket books. He did a whole series of pocket books that they were not, all the pocket books that he did were not published in MAD. So all the work that Don Martin, Berg, Prohias, Jaffe, of course, and myself, that we did on the pocket books, that material wasn't published in MAD. Total new material.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
He was even more prolific than I could have imagined. I always thought that those things were just reprinting other work that he had done, that it was published.
Huh. And not only that, the material is ours.
Most importantly.
Yes.
Right. So, I'll tell you, Sergio, we're gonna have you back on here. I think there's a lot more that I'd love to chat with you about MAD. But you know what? I saw a few people asking, are you going to be going out to any shows this year? Do you have any plans to attend any conventions?
I have just not by age. You know, it's I'm planning to go to San Diego.
Okay.
But I have a doctor appointment. I'm in perfect good health. But between my wife and I mean, we are in certain age that we cannot expose ourselves to a lot of things, you know. And
you got to be safe. You got to be careful anymore.
You know, I'll be 86 this year, so that's compared to Al, I'm a baby. You know?
Well, you look great for 86, Sergio. I'll give you that. I had no idea. I didn't. But no, you don't look that old at all. But yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on the show. Maybe, hopefully, sooner rather than later. I mean, if San Diego's the only show you're doing, we should definitely talk more. I'd love to talk more about the history of MAD, and particularly and GRU as well. I mean, I know we have a lot of GRU fans out there, and I would love to be able to chat with you about that and show off some artwork.
I enjoy one of the things that we had in common many times, Jaffe and I, is the coffee house. You go with a friend and you sit in a coffee house and you talk. So that has been substituted by the Zoom, which is great. You know, you sit and you chat. And there's other people who don't have the opportunity to be there or participate, but they can look at what we talk about if they are interested in that field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have Zoom with other cartoonists, and we have a few of them. And, you know, you do that with other guys who collect and things like that. And they have the whole thing. The only difference is that we can, when you are in a coffee house with 6 cartoonists, you're talking and you talk to the guy to the right with something that had nothing to do with the guy to the left. So you can be talking 6 conversations at the same time, or one with everybody, and everybody then start open. So it's a great life. And Jaffe and I, we enjoy that a lot. We talk a lot. We went there with other friends. And it was conversation about the fields and about a lot of things. And it's just great. It's great. One of my great memories with forever will be my friendship with Al. One of my biggest treasures. So yeah, invite me anytime you want.
I will certainly do that. And again, I appreciate it. I'm glad Ken put us together so we could do this. But yeah, I'll be in touch. I've got your email now. Now we can set something up maybe in a month or two. I'd love to chat with you a lot more, Sergio.
Sure, anytime. It'll be a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this too. It's
to the viewers, to the patients, to listen to us.
All right. Well, I'll be in touch. I'll have you on again real soon, Sergio. Thank you again.
Anytime.
And sorry for your loss.
Yes, thank you. Same.
Wow, wasn't that great? That was wonderful. I really I knew Sergio was the person to have on to talk about Al, just because he'd worked with him for so long, and there were a lot of anecdotal things I'd read over the years about the relationship, and I just knew that if he was up for it, that he was the perfect person to discuss Al's life. And I don't have the time to dig out the link for the biography that I read, but or the audiobook that I listened to, I should say. But it was I closed the window right before the show because I finished it a few hours ago. But I'll post it somewhere. I'll maybe in the CAF mailing tomorrow, or at least in the description to the show later, because it was definitely a good read, and very interesting. It's from a generation that none of us really can understand or really appreciate. Being born in the mid 30s, or I think it was early 30s, and you think about all the things that he was exposed to, things that we take for granted today. He lived through that and maintained his sense of humor throughout all of that. So thanks again to Sergio. Now, I've got a lot of stuff to go over, but none of it in too great a detail. And I'm going to actually shoot a text to my daughter, because I told her that she could finally open up that Heritage victory that she got. What was it? It got mailed here like 2 months ago, but she couldn't wait last week because I had Sean Gordon Murphy on for so long that she gave up and decided to get ready for bed. But I'll have her come over as soon as she's ready. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier today, my mom sent me a birthday card. And usually they're kind of sappy. Most birthday cards kind of suck, right? I mean, they don't suck. They're always nice to get, but you read them, and I got one that was talking about me crafty, and it was trying to tie something about craft beer and me being a crafty person, and it was funny. It was nice to to get, but the joke fell a little bit flat. But now here is one from my mom. Look at it's got a little lizardy dinosaur thing, and it says "son" on it. My mom is, is she 85? She's up there. I always forget what her age is. I shouldn't, of course. I think she's 84. My father was 30 years older than me, so he would be 85, not 87, everyone. So it says, "Son, so amazed by the ways you're creatively you, how you march to the beat of your very own drum, and grateful for how you brighten this world, so proud of the truly cool guy you've become. Happy birthday, love, Mom." And that was a good one, right? I mean, that's a birthday card that means something. So thank you, Mom. I didn't get a chance to tell her how much I appreciated this card, but I will definitely call her tomorrow and tell her. That was a good one. Yeah, because cards are usually a little bit more right? They don't pack a punch. But mom had to send one that got me right here, right? So is it going to be a long one again? No, it won't be, Tim. It definitely will not be. But I'm going to start opening things. I already told my daughter to come in here, so at some point she'll make it here. I got this in the mail today. This is from George Hodge, and and it says Jack the Radio right on it. And George sent me this is part of that crowdfunded project that Matt Allison and Aaron Connolly worked on with George. And Gwen's making her way in here right now, but I'll still open this one first while she's getting situated. Now, let's see here. And I backed the project, and let's see what I got in here. I have got another t-shirt to wear, so that's good. That's awesome. Thank you, George. Look at that right there. Saber-tooth Swordsman, Jack the Radio, and Kankor. Love that. And here, Gwen, you can hold that. Let's see what else we got in here. I got some pins. Oh, yeah, the reflection is going to be bad on there. But look, I got a Kankor pen and a Jack the Radio and Saber-tooth Swordsman as well. That is awesome. Stickers to go on my portfolio. And look at that. I got the comic book. I'm not going to take it out, but it looks like I got everything in here. George, thank you so much, man. This is awesome. And I didn't have this one. I still have the Jack the Radio stuff that I got from you before, Haj. So I appreciate it. This is awesome. And I love both Aaron Connolly and Matt Allison. Aaron actually lives not too far from here. One of these days, maybe I'll get to join him for coffee. That would be good. Or maybe he'll go to the show that we've got here next February. All right. So have a seat, Gwen. This is the moment she's been waiting 2 weeks for. I'll slide out of the way a little bit here, but don't want to roll over your feet. Say hi to everybody in the audience, Gwen. All right. Now, where did I put the knife? I had it here a minute ago, and now it's gone. Oh, there it is, hiding under the microphone. All right. So, yep, you remember Gwen. She was on once before, but she is the woman behind the scenes when we're doing the Dueling Dealers show every Wednesday night. Her and Maureen. I mean, Gwen, well, you know, she's in the chat. She's texting me when I'm missing things, which is a lot. So we text a whole lot during the show, but it's good because usually when I'm panicking, there's a slide over me, so you don't know that I'm freaking out that I missed something. But Gwen doesn't let me miss anything. So what this is this is from the international auction that happened about a month ago now, maybe even a little bit more than a month ago. Gwen, you'd seen some anime art, right? Or cells?
Yeah, some anime cells. I don't want to say what they are. They'll see in a sec.
Yes, they will see in a sec. And it's big enough that I've got to back up now. Move the microphone out of the way. Man. Well, so Heritage Pack's a good box. I'll tell everybody that. My goodness. There we go. Come on. Oh, getting closer. Now, you had your eye on 4 things, right? You were bidding on 4 lots?
Yeah.
And how many did you win?
I won 2 of these.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Right, now we're up to the center of it. Here, you can hold that. All right. And
it's even more. There's 2 in the
this
middle.
is like the never-ending package here. Let's see. I'm sure this is really, I actually did win a heritage auction long time ago, probably 15 years ago. So it's been a long time since I've gotten anything from them. So many of you are probably used to the fact that it takes this long to get to the center of a heritage package. Man. All right. Like watching paint dry sometimes, isn't it? All right. Careful. I'm telling you, they couldn't wrap this thing up in more layers.
I agree. This is just ASMR at this point.
But, hey, I appreciate it. I think it's safe. There we go. Now, I think we're good.
If it's in the box.
No, it's right here.
Okay.
All right. Here, you can take that one.
Okay.
So I should show that one off. Now that
So this one is, we got the Ghostbuster. This is from Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Let's
tip
see.
it to the side because of the reflection. There you go.
There we go. We got this. This is one of the panels from Ghostbusters. My mom she watched all the anime comic series as a kid, so we were like, this will be super cute. She watched this whole show, so.
See where I get super cute from, everybody? Marcus, you don't give me a hard time anymore. It came from Gwen.
And this is super cool. So the main character, we have the main character of Hunter x Hunter. We have Gon. This is one of the ones that we really wanted. We're watching all of Hunter x Hunter right now. So this one's super cool. I'm really glad I got this one.
Here, I'll get the bag for that one.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So now you can actually show your sister and your mom.
Yeah.
What you spent over $1,000 on. Was that my money or your money?
Well,
I think it was.
It was worth it.
Yes, exactly. I think this was a gift from Dad.
It's a good buy.
It's all right. Again, I'm trying to encourage the family to. I mean, they already appreciate the arts. I mean, I bought my son Ashton a Pokemon cell with Ash and Pikachu on it like 20 years ago. And
Very nice
and that
looking.
same company that I bought it from has emailed me like 3 times over the years wanting to buy it back because it's very precious.
Yeah.
I think. But well, congratulations, Gwen. Don't
Thank
knock my
you.
Coke over.
I won't. I'll move it back.
It's on my laptop. No,
I
I'm gonna
don't
move
wanna-
it.
I said I didn't want you to have it there when you're cutting.
That's all right. It's all right. Well, congrats. Show mom and your sister so they can be as impressed as I am.
Stream.
I will. All right. Yeah, Gwen did well. And I mean, animation cells are always fun, right? I mean, I've got probably a dozen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animation cells, and they're just easy to hang and or display in a portfolio. I'm sure Jeff Wedding would tell me that I probably am not storing them properly, but they are fun. They're nice. So all right, let me go through here. I've got 3 more packages to open up. Now this one, it's funny. Now, of course, Marcus bought me a daily that I'm going to get in the mail from Anthony, and we'll probably be able to open that next Thursday. But about 3 weeks ago, it probably wasn't even that long. Does anybody remember when Scott Kress ran the sale on Joe Sinnott art? It was 25% off. Yes, humidity sensitive sales. Yes. At any rate, so Scott Kress emails me because he doesn't really write press releases. So he emailed me a single sentence saying, "Can you post this, onto Cap as news? I'm running a sale on Sinnott art for the next 2 weeks or maybe through the end of April." So I sent it over to Colin to post it, but I said, I'll go check it out. I like Sinnott artwork. And what's the first thing I see is some Spider-Man strips, right, by Alex Saviuk. And the first one in the list is my birthday, 4/18. And like, how can I not, how am I going to pass that up, right? I mean, it's fate telling me that I had to get this artwork. So I did, and it was actually a decent price because I think it was priced at $800, and because it was 25% off, I got it for $600. And it's a Sunday, and Saviuk and Sinnott. So it doesn't have a lot of action, but look, it's got Mary and it's got Peter, and she's holding this costume. I don't know what she's talking about. Since you promised, I don't know. He's questioning something, but hey, it's a Sunday on my birthday, and great minds think alike, Marcus, because I did the same thing, and I'd never done that before. I actually never picked up a piece of art with with that in mind. Although I know that that's something really common with strip art. I'm sure, like with Jack Davis stuff, and I'm sure same thing with Spider-Man artwork. So yeah, my first Saviuk piece too. I've never had anything by him before, so this is awesome. I would encourage anybody to go check out that sale because I do think it goes through the end of April. And a Spidey face at the end. That's right. There's all. I mean, I'm happy with it. As a first look, you got the Daily Bugle, the front of that. No, this is good. This is really nice. So thank you to Scott for that one. Nicely packaged. Oh, let's see. I've got. I'm saving Dino's for last because it's huge. Now this one's from Khalil. And Khalil, I don't know if Khalil's here, but I meant to. Last year I got that drinking mug from Khalil, and I meant to actually have it out. I was going to put Coke in it and drink out of it tonight, and I forgot. I'll have to do that next week. But I thought it would have been a good way to celebrate my birthday with that gift from last year. I haven't used it as a prop yet, and I've been wanting to. It's well, you can't see it too well from over there. It's behind the Thor hammer, but that was the remember it was like an ox horn that you could drink lagers out of. So let's see here. It's a little easier to get into than the Heritage package. I'm gonna have to call the maid in early tomorrow. All right, let's see. Now let's say, hey Bill, meant to send this to you for a bit. Didn't see a Paul Pelletier piece in your Cap gallery, and no, that's very true. I don't think I've ever had anything by Paul. So thought you could use this one, Magyar Inks. Got some X-Men with Storm, some FF with The Thing and Johnny. Oh, Snork's going to be jealous. And you got to have some Panther in there as well, of course, if it's from you, Khalil. Fun run where Black Panther and Storm replace Reed and Sue for some time in the FF. Thanks for all you do, Khalil. And, oh, man, shoot, that's awesome. Wow, this is gorgeous. This is really, really a nice page, Khalil. Dang. Yeah, take a look at this. I'm not going to hold it straight to the screen, but those first couple panels with the thing, Black Panther and Storm. I mean, that's really, really nice. Thank you, Khalil. This is awesome. See, I only get to turn 55 once, but I get a few nice gifts here. This is beautiful. I've always liked Paul's work too. Magyar's inks are always solid. So this is fantastic. All right. Thank you, Khalil. I appreciate it. This is really, really sweet. I love it. That panel and that panel right there, look at it, with the thing is awesome. Okay. All right. Now, last but not least, look at this thing. It even says for April 18th on it. So I knew it was for my birthday. It's from Dino. Dino called me today. But we didn't talk about my birthday. But I've been waiting because I got this. I got this early last week, and I didn't want to open it last week because I knew I'd have a few other things to open. So we get to open it today. Oh no. Oh boy, this is something that's probably going to go up on the wall. I can tell. Get the tape off of it. Oh, here we go. This is. Let's get it from the other side. Now, as everybody knows, Dino has done some really, really, really creative things with the way he displays his art and things he's printed. I mean, we've seen the amazing Cribs video with Dino in that space. And as many of you may or may not know, he's printed out books of his own artwork. So rather than taking a portfolio of expensive art around, he's printed books before. Well, now he has printed a, this is just amazing. And look at Oranga. I thought Oranga would have been Psylocke, but in this case, Oranga down here in the middle, he is Nightcrawler. I mean, this has got pretty much everybody who has been on shows with me. It's got a lot of people from the hobby, a few people who haven't even been on shows with me. This is awesome. But look at this. Bill, it's happy birthday, Bill. Marvelous 55th. Thank you from all of your super friends on CAF. I mean, look. Nick Perucci, of course, is Submariner. I mean, how could he not be? And I'm Thor, of course. Fish is the Silver Surfer. How appropriate. Oh, this is amazing. And of course, Scott Wango is Black Spider-Man, of course. And look at him up there. And that is awesome. I see Adam up there as Iceman. And oh my gosh, that is awesome. Oh man. Well, of course, now I don't think I'm going to have enough wall space for these pieces. And James is Captain America. That's interesting. But look, Larry made the cut. Chuck Arnold. Oh my gosh, everybody's in here. George Hodge. This is Mikhail Jordan Kazra. Yep, and of course Dino's on here, and Berkey's on here, and Mr. Lovitz, and Sharon, Jason, pretty much everybody. Well, this is amazing. Thank you so much, Dino. Carl Choi, this is fantastic. Joshua, you're in here too. So you're Power Man, actually. So, and Khalil, of course, Black Panther. And this is a gift that keeps on giving. And yes, Chris Nork, you are there. You are the thing. You were not missed. Oh, man. Yes. And Marcus made it too. Look at that. Look at that, Marcus. Right there up front. Yeah. This is great. Kavi's in there. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, this is going up on the wall. Thank you so much, Dino. And this is absolutely fantastic. Yep. I'm gonna, I should put it like right here so I can look at it every day. You're all amazing. Thank you so much. Chris Stark says you're getting several beers from me at Heroes. That's we are doing the thing at Heroes, everybody. George Hodge is here. We are going to be doing the same get together as we did last year, Thursday night. at the Bar E bar. Well, same thing as before. Lots of fun. I'll probably have a roll of drink tickets to give everybody. It will. Thank you, Kazra. Yeah, that's funny. That show name just won't go away. Confirm the same venue, says George. Yes, exactly. That was definitely a lot of fun. I'll play some pinball this time if I can, but I hope everybody that can make it does, because we had such a great time last year. Heroes was a blast. It really was, and you got to hear George Hodge play with his band, which was worth the price of admission. I think, which I think was like $10 when we did it. It was $10, and but well worth it. The bar was very accommodating to all of our needs. So yeah, sorry I didn't get to read the chat at all through all that, but it needs a scan. Yes, I understand. I will put Ian. I will scan. I will make a scan of that. It's going to have to be pieced together because it is. It's bigger than a DPS. So, and I did forget to mention this, and I apologize. I kind of rolled with that, trying to get in touch with my daughter. But I have a special message, a brief message from Mikhail and Aranga, that because related to Sergio, Aranga and Mikhail have recently interviewed Sergio, and that conversation is going to be dropping on 4C's YouTube channel in the near future. I know that Mikhail's putting some finishing touches on it, but a really interesting topic and very related to talking about Al Jaffe earlier today. And I think it's a great idea that they both did, and I look forward to the interview with Sergio, but also future ones that Mikhail and Aranga might do. So completely, I think it's a wonderful idea. If I had more time, I'd be doing stuff like that. I think we need more content like that out there. And I know, given Mikhail's penchant for creativity in his editing, I know he's going to put together with Aranga a fantastic interview of Sergio. All right. So, sorry for getting that earlier. But what else do I got to have here? Oh, we can I can finally tell you guys about the sketch ops are open. I have not put the link anywhere, so I figured I'd throw it out there for you guys first. As you may or may not have noticed, I did put an email out a couple days ago letting everybody know that today was the day we were going to launch the exhibitor booth setup start time. So it is, you can set up an exhibitor booth now for those of you who are thinking of exhibiting during Comic Art Live, which is, of course, the weekend of May 20th and 21st. And it's the weekend after Como, and it's the week before the big vacation week, Memorial Day. So let me hide a couple screens here, and I'll just remind everybody how to get started on their booth, and then I can give you the link to the mystery sketch opportunity, which is finally up and around, although I haven't linked it into the site yet. I will do that probably after the show. So let me see here. I can go over to here. And I got to make that more like that. But yeah, as far as booth setup, you can go into your manage galleries, and the setup booth is now in place. So you have just under 30 days to set up your booth. And for me, when I click on it, I'm just going to go straight into my booth setup. But for those of you who have not set up your booth yet, there will be a confirmation screen in between there that just gives you an overview of our expectations of you as an exhibitor at Comic Art Live, and a few other things. And you just have to kind of, check a box saying you agree that you're going to be, an exhibitor of good, in good standing with us, and away you go. So please go ahead and start doing that. You got a month to get your stuff together and assemble your booth. If you run into any questions, you can email me, bill@comicartfans.com, and I can give you the whole scoop on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. But those of you who've done this before, I can say that we delete the stuff that's in your room. Of course, remember at the end of last show, you were able to move all that stuff back to your room, your gallery. But we do leave in things like booth descriptions and whatnot. And if you're a rep, we leave in all of your artists that you have assigned to you and that sort of thing. So the only thing you have to do is put the art back in. I hate to say it, but you got a month to do it. And it gives you the opportunity to kind of curate a good selection of art for the May show. And hopefully we continue to see an increase in items put into the Comic Art Live virtual show. I think last show we were just over 5,000 pieces of art for sale. So I'd like to think that we'll probably end up in that same area. Let's see. Jeffrey says he's still waiting on his shirt and golf balls from last year. When do they ship out? Clear my alerts. I know, guys. I'm sorry. I get all these alerts. You know that. I see them all the time. But here, let me back up, and I'll copy and paste this link into the chat so everybody has it. And this, I have an actual email queued up to go out tomorrow at 10 a.m. that talks about the sketch shop. And here, let me just get this into the chat first, and I'll tell you all about it. So there is the link for that. Now, this time around, I have a few more artists than last time, which is nice. Dan Brereton has agreed to do a few. I don't have a firm commitment on the count, but he said at least 2, maybe 4. So Dan's, he and I are simpatico on stuff. Now we're going to be doing another show in August, but he agreed that he would do a few of these too. So I've got Dan Brereton as a standalone artist. From Next Comic Art, I've got Julia Sabrera, Mannix, of course, John Amore, Robbie Amore, Kay Aranzanzo, Kajo, and Elmer Cantata, JP Koisen, Elmer Damasco, and Rian Gonzalez, Raf Gumbach, Jim Jimenez, Bard Mendoza, Miguel Mercado, Ellery Santos, Sowie, Dexter Soy, Miko Swain again, and the man whose work I completely adore, Harvey Talibo, is also doing it. From TD Art, Tatiana, we have new artists this time. I think is going to make people happy. We have Sonia Anwar, Joe Benitez, Jason Krager, Cross, Marco Gali, Damon Hampton, Nur Levy, Ryan Odegawa, Anthony Schmidt, and Tyler Walpole. Now, 4C Comics has shaken things up a little bit. Aranga's not in the list this time, but we've got Bill Morrison, Alex Saviuk, Nick Varela, and Ron Wilson. So both Alex and Ron are new to doing these. That's going to be awesome. And I know that they're taking more than a couple of sketch opportunities. And then from Splash Page, we've got I think most of these, well, not all of them, but we've got Emiliano Urdinola. And I wish I should have practiced these before the show. Francisco Peranzini, Juan Samu, Damian Cochiero, and Brian Thies, and Leo Sandler, and German Peralta. So in total, I believe we've got about 150 committed sketch opportunities out there. So the my goal, we're releasing these a few weeks earlier than we have in the past, because what I'd like to do is for some of these people, I know they're traveling to Como and a few other things, or they're out of the country, so I'm hoping to get some of these sketch lists out to people about a week before the show, maybe even 2 if we can sell out. But let's see, I will do that, Dave. That's a good point. But yeah, so links in there. Feel free to do to sign up for those now. Remember that the payment is done through PayPal, and you can sign up for as many as you like. There is no limit to doing that, but the shipping is always attached to each one, because while I fulfill a lot of the orders that go to Next Comic Art, Tatiana ships out her own, Brereton's going to ship out his own, Mark, Ken from 4C. So the thing is, if you bought 4, you more than likely are going to get 1 from each person who's mailing out artwork. So there's not a combine on shipping option here. Now, I do note that if you're out of the country, I'm fine with you doing this, and paying it, but the PayPal doesn't really let me have a option for like alternate, letting you pick that you're out of the country. So you can buy it if you're out of the country, and we'll work out what the difference is on shipping when it comes time to ship the art. We expect all of the artwork to be in hand to be shipped within 2 weeks of the show. As everybody knows, the Friday before the show, that evening, we do have as many of the artists that want to kind of get together. We do just a sketch event where we hang out. Usually Jiggy's with me, and if Tatiana could be there, Ken and Mark, I'll have them on as well. And we just kind of, chit chat, hang out with the artists who are doing the sketches live, who choose to do that. So it's always kind of a fun event. And again, mystery sketch event. It's our 3rd time doing it. I think the first time we did it, we had about 50 sketches in it. The second time we did it, we were right at 100. So if we can get to 150, that'd be perfect, because that's exactly how many sketches the artists committed to. And we may even add a few more in there. I did reach out to a couple different artists as well, And I just, they were like, let me think about it. And, I'll still give them a few days to think about it. And if we add them in, more the better, right? It'll be a even more diverse set of artists participating. Now, I think that was all I wanted to cover on the sketches, but you can see simple form here. All you do is you put in, look at Superman. I'm going to get a Superman sketch if I were to do this. You just click that and head on over to PayPal, and it's got everything in here. But this is where you can put the quantity in. And like I say, it sticks at $225. The shipping is $25 for each sketch. So you can put the quantity in there and continue, and you're all set. Now, as Dave reminded me, Dave Kopecki, that we do have a feedback system built into Comic Art Live. So I would encourage people there's only, there's a few ways you can screw it up. And I should just say, we always tell people, don't delete your items when they sell. So when you're selling artwork as a exhibitor, all you do is you mark your items as sold and leave them in your booth. It's okay, because you can't replace them. We don't let you add any more artwork once the show's open. So leave those items in your booth, mark them as sold, and when the show is over, the feedback system kind of kicks in. And so sellers can leave feedback for their buyers, and then buyers can then leave feedback for the seller. So it's an important thing. And I can tell you that, I really had hoped to integrate the feedback system into CAF in between the November show and the May show. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But one thing I did talk with Maureen about that I want her to get in place very soon is the ability for the live stream sales shows that I'm hosting to leave feedback for you when you're buying artwork through through like Oming show last week or Brereton show. I mean, everybody who's buying is a CAF member, and at the very least, I should be setting it up so that we can be increasing the feedback profiles of the people who are buying through those streams as well, because those are verified sales, obviously easy for me to track and verify, and so we can create a simple system that will allow us to grow the feedback that way. So it probably won't happen until right after Comic Art Live, but Maureen said it won't be a problem to put it together. There you go, Josh. Josh has got a Chitara. That's the way to go. You can't say no. Don't tell him no. Dueling dealer feedback too, Marcus. The only reason I'd be hesitant on that is because it really should be Anthony or Mike leaving that feedback, right? Not me. And so I'd have to ask them if they'd be open to doing that. I agree. I thought about it, but then I thought, well, shoot, it can't be me, even though I know, like Marcus, when you buy a piece, but I don't know if you paid promptly or anything like that, and then you'd be technically leaving feedback for Mike or Anthony. So I'll probably have to talk with them about it. I think it would be a wise thing to do, because at the end of the day, I get asked about whether an art dealer is reputable as often as I get asked about a collector being reputable. So building up dealer reputations isn't a bad idea. And that would be one way to do it. And so again, just something to think about, but it is very true. I mean, I think the last, what was it, on Monday, I got somebody asked me if Albert Moy was trustworthy. And again, if somebody I don't know, probably somebody very new to the hobby, but again, they don't know these people, but I'm promoting their art and art sales on my site. So I get asked whether or not they're reputable people to buy from. So they're too sensitive, Marcus. Yeah, they might too mean. You might get it too mean. Well, you are too mean, Marcus, but it's okay. It's part of your charm. So anyway, so there you have it. There's where you buy your mystery sketch opportunities. I'll actually get it linked in. I didn't do any real promotion of these the last 2 times, but as you can see, I actually put a little banner ad letting people know that Comic Art Live is coming, because I keep getting asked about it. So I put that in the right-hand column, and I plan on doing something with some kind of advertising as we kind of hit milestones, 2 weeks before the exhibitor booths close, that sort of stuff. So yeah, expect more prompting from us on these sorts of things, and along with the mystery sketch opportunity. Tim Guerrero, yeah, or that's what feedback's for, letting you know when you have problems with a dealer. I agree. I mean, it's or rep or whatever. I mean, it's all relevant. So we'll figure it out. It's a problem to solve. So there you have it. Like I mentioned, 150 opportunities. That's the main thing. Up from I think we had about 110 committed spaces last time, and I think we just fell short of filling out all of the opportunities that the artists were hoping to get. What are you gonna do? I think we can fill it out this time. 150 is not too hard. It's not all peachy always. No, it's not. I agree. I would never disagree with you on that, Tim. I mean, you're kind of technically, a dealer too, right? I mean, things happen. I can tell you that just so everybody knows, this was something that when I started fulfilling orders, I did go out and get insurance and everything too, to properly cover the art while I'm storing it here, and to give me the extra coverage on shipping. And so, there's a lot of things that go into being somebody who, deals in artwork, and none of us wear white gloves. I know that was, somebody asked that question once after one of our shows. Why don't we handle the art differently? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there's I don't know many collectors that wear white gloves when they handle their art either. But anyway, what else I got for you? Oh shoot, there was one thing that Tariq sent me an email, and for those of you who don't know, that's TAMD1 in the chat. He was going to be going to Wicked Comic Con this weekend, and something came up, and he's not able to go now. He was actually down here in Florida. We were going to try to meet up. It didn't work. But he was going to fly from Orlando to Boston, but his schedule has gotten changed. And so he said, is there any way that we can do a giveaway or get a ticket to somebody who needs one? So I contacted Colin, who works with Wicked Comic Con. He's their communications director, among other things, I believe. And he said we could. He said, why don't you do a giveaway on the show? Now, don't do it yet, everybody, because I haven't turned it on yet. I have to actually create it, but it'll only take a second. But if you're going to Wicked Comic Con, or you were thinking about going to Wicked Comic Con, I can get you a weekend pass. So isn't that nice? And we can thank Tariq for it, because he said, I'd hate to see it go to waste. It should go to a fan. There are lots of artists that are attending that show. There are a lot of art dealers that are going to Wicked Comic Con. And what will happen is whoever ends up winning this, after I start it, hasn't happened yet. Give me 1 second. Kicking through this thing. There we go. Well, yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh, shoot. There we go. Enter the giveaway trigger. Why do they even do that? Everybody knows what the giveaway trigger always is. There we go. So it should announce it in the chat that there's a new giveaway. And as everybody knows, to enter the giveaway, you type an exclamation point, put the word enter after it, and that will enter you in the giveaway. So again, this is for one ticket to Wicked Comic Con. So maybe you're going to Wicked Comic Con and you have a friend who didn't have the money to go. Well, now the opportunity has presented itself for you to win a free ticket to MegaCon. Wicked Comic Con. Sorry, need more Coke. All right, here we go. So, all right, there we go. Some people are putting them in there already. Let's. So again, do it if you're in the area, right? If you can go, or you have a friend who you'd like to bring with you. If you can't go, don't worry about putting your name in the hat for one of these. I feel better already. All right, so I'll leave that going for a few minutes. Sorry, I forgot about that. I wanted to have that set up before we got started. But so, as many of you know, my upcoming schedule is really, really crazy. And I've got a couple big sales shows this weekend with both Joe Linsner and Adam Kubert. And of course, I've got the Amore Brothers on Monday evening, and Jiggy will be with me on that one. But I got the art from Joe Linsner for his show on Saturday, and I got some of the art for Adam's show on Sunday. And I would imagine everybody who likes both of those gentlemen probably wouldn't mind having a look at what artwork they are bringing. So let's see here. I tried to kind of set up a screen here for me to share some of this stuff. Let's see here. I think I'll show Linsner's artwork first, since I've got him on the show on Saturday. And let me get this queued up here. Now, Joe, this is a first. He's actually bringing a couple interior pages with him. Not of Dawn. Don't get all riled up about it. I wish it was going to be Dawn. It's not going to be Dawn. But here, let me just share my screen. And as always, he's got the best covers. I'm sure a lot of these, Nick, you've probably seen a few of these, and I'm sure some of these were published with Dynamite. So you got what do we got? We got a Betty Page. She's a little risque. Oh, wait a minute. There's Deja Thoris, and she's a little risque too. But that's the way we like them drawn by Joe Linsner. Another Deja Thoris, and these are all covers, by the way. Joe is just one of the most prolific cover guys out there. As many people know, he does his figure work like that, and then usually they're digitally colored in the backgrounds. So you get this really fantastic pinup feel with his stuff. Betty Page, another Betty Page. Looks like she's in Greece. You got a Death Dealer here. I mean, that's a first. I don't think we've had a Death Dealer from Joe before. And Bunny Mask. I'm not even sure what that is. It's like a bad dream for Hugh Hefner, but it's a beautiful image as always from Joe. Another Deja Thoris. Haunches, that. Betty Page again. Another interesting view of Deja Thoris. Beheading. Anthony would like this one. And Red Sonja, obviously, on the wrong side of that one. And you got Purgatory here. And Vampirella's on the wrong side of that beheading with Red Sonja. And Draculina. I think there's a couple Draculinas in here. Another one. And Sheena. Nice piece there. Hell Sonja. I think we had one of these for sale last time. Another Draculina. Another one. Immortal Red Sonja. This is an awesome image. Got a skull on it. Another Purgatory. And Vampy and Red Sonja. Nobody's lost their head on this one. That's a good one. And a Draculina there. And a Hell Sonja again. And then, see, finally, some of the interior pieces. I think there's only 3. And this was from a Harley Quinn issue. But again, and when I talked with Joe, I said, well, what are we going to do? How do we price your interior stuff? And the thing is, he has actually he hasn't sold interior work hardly ever. And, or it's been a very, very, very long time, and for differing reasons. So when we were talking about, we actually might auction the 3 interior pieces because he just doesn't know. Like and we probably start at a point he's happy to start a price at. But I mean, how often? I mean, and Nick would know this. I mean, you just don't see Joe's interior work. He just doesn't sell it. I mean, I love this one. Honestly, this is a gorgeous page, and I should tell Maureen to be in the bidding for me on it. But yeah, I love this one a lot. I mean, I love the panel layout on it, and again, it's just a beautiful painted Linsner interior. I don't care that it's a Harley Quinn story. It doesn't matter. It's gorgeous. So more than likely, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be talking with Joe tomorrow on the phone, and we're going to work out the final details on that. And then I looked at this. First thing I thought, Al Jaffe. This should be a fold-in, But again, it's an awesome image, and I love it. Again, an interior, you just don't get that from Joe. So there you have it. That's all the artwork that I have at the moment from Joe, and then from Adam. Now, Joe's show, of course, is going to be on Saturday at 2 p.m. And then I've got Adam Kubert on Sunday at 2 p.m. And he's going to be here with me. We're going to be sitting here together. I get to look at all this artwork in hand. And he actually told me he's bringing, and James probably knows, it's some Avengers issue where it's all DPSs and the story goes, it's like lengthwise, and then it's this way, and then it's that way, and then back all around. He's going to bring the whole book. I guess that's going to be part of the sale. So what do we got here? Spirits of Vengeance, Ghost Rider page. And that's got to be about 30 years old. One of those, this is from Origin 2, issue 3, cover from Adam. So that's pretty darn awesome. Zoom into that. I love his stuff, man. Pencil work from him is crazy. Look at that. So that will be available. This is a Wolverine page from I think it says issue 96. and doesn't look like it's ending too good there for Wolverine. And then we have a Weapon X page for those of you Age of Apocalypse people. Weapon X has got Wolverine and Jean on it. And then this is from X-Men 82. Big DPS again. Looks like Colossus, Rogue, and Storm also in it. So that's just a taste. Those are 5 pieces that he has sent me. Was asking me some questions about. So so there you have it. That's my tease for this weekend. Yeah, I know, Goo. I love Adam's work too, and it's tough. Do I own any? I have one piece by Adam. So yeah, it's there's so many things out there, and I was talking with somebody earlier about it. There is just so many buying opportunities anymore that it is pretty crazy. I've got the drug dealer lingo down pat, Mikhail. Just a taste. That's right. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, so that's that. So that'll be this weekend. It'll be fun because Joe is just awesome to talk to. I've done 2 shows with him before, and he's just one of the more down to earth artists you're ever going to chat with. And Victor Brock, I'm sorry, Victor. I'm broke, Bill. I'm broke. I get it. We're all kind of in that same boat. Bootlegging. Guessing Jason D already picked. Probably not, actually. Bootlegging. Probably not. Yeah, and I wish there was an Adam Kubert giveaway. Sorry, it's not the way it's happening today, Oranga. So Oranga D will be at Dragon Con! ! Says bootlegging. Very good. So yeah, let me see how many people we've got entered into this giveaway. We've got 8 people. So I'll give everybody a few more minutes. I figured it wasn't something. I mean, not everybody's in the Northeast, right, and can get over to Wicked Comic Con. But if you can, again, they've got one heck of a artist list and an art dealer list there. So it's going to be a good show if you're an art collector for certain. And a lot of several guys from Essential Sequential are there. I don't even remember the whole list, but it's a good list. Colin would agree. He would tell me it's a great list, and it is. And I'm sure we're going to get a recap video from that, some to show on next week's show. But all right, James Siegel is in there too. James might make the trip, or he knows somebody he could give that ticket to. Oh, remove me. He says remove. If you win it, I'm going to pick somebody else, James. How's that? Breaking the rules, James. Well, heck. All right. Why don't we do the drawing right now? Okay, Timothy entered in. All right, now I've got 10. So except James doesn't count. So we'll go ahead and do the drawing here. Where are you? Pick the winner. Southern Comic Geek has won. All right, Southern Comic Geek. What I want you to do is shoot me an email, and I will get that forwarded over to Colin. And what we'll do is this will probably be picked up at the will call desk. So you'll just be able to give them your name and ID, and I would imagine they'll set you up with a ticket. So Southern Comic Geek, shoot me an email, and I will get you set up. That's awesome. And again, thanks to Tariq for doing that. It was very thoughtful of him to reach out and figure out a way for us to get that passed along. So do give away to what? You won't be able to make it. Oh my goodness. I don't think I can pick another one. How am I going to do that? Oh my gosh. I wish I would have known that before I closed it. I clicked close on it already. I can't reopen it. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see here. I can do it, but it's not going to show it on the live chat, unfortunately. Let's see here. Can I get that thing open? No, it won't even let me open it now. Doggone it. Oh my goodness. Am I going to have to redo it? I'm going to have to redo it. Start over. Yes. Pick Jason. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I don't have a choice. Actually, I think I actually have to start it over because I was so proactive in closing it that I was too thorough. Okay. Well, let's see. Turning it on again. Everything looks like it's cloned properly and saved. Somebody do an enter that wants to go. There we go. Gektex is in. All right, so I'll give everybody 5 minutes. 5 minutes. If you can go to Wicked Comic Con, do the enter thing, and then I'll pick the winner again. So there we go. Now we're getting, looks like the same people. It's good. Start putting your names in there. In 5 minutes from now, I will pick that next winner. So let's see. I can show you real quick the schedule because it really hasn't changed a whole lot. But I did give everybody the weekend stuff that I'm doing. Chuck Arnold will be my guest on Tuesday. I've got a show with Dennis Cowan and Dexter Soy on next Saturday. Now I have to tell you, I had asked Dennis to submit some more of his older artwork, and he actually sent me some Deathlock artwork that's over 30 years old. So I know there are Deathlock fans, and I know there are Dennis Cowan Deathlock fans. They're going to be about, I'm just going to say probably 5 or 6 pages that he pulled out, and they're all like, by and large, like action pages. So they're really, really, really nice. And I just got the scans today. But I mean, he actually photographed them, so they weren't. I didn't want to show them because they're not proper scans. The art's being shipped to me, so I'll have it probably by this time next week, so I'll be able to show off scans to preview for that. But yeah, Dennis dug into the deep stash of stuff that he's got and pulled out some Deathlock stuff. So again, I know there are many people who are very, very interested. But Kyle, you just picked up a Deathlock page from Cowan the other day. Yeah. I mean, I was a little surprised, but I've been asking him to do that, and he just decided to go ahead and do it this time around. So I was really happy. I mean, I think going forward, it'd be cool if like a third of what he brought was always some of his vintage artwork, because he has a lot of it. Oh boy. So let me get back to that calendar there. So yeah, Dennis there, and then of course Sideshow Bob for the 150th episode of the Comic Art Live Chat on May 2nd. So that'll be fun. I've got Dexter Vines on. I got a list of his art today that he's going to be bringing. Alberto Gonzalez on the 9th. The woman from Wow Art, Jane Frank, will be there here on the 16th. We got Comic Art Live on the 20th and 21st. Kevin Nolan art sale on the 10th. Alex Winter from Hakes will be my guest on the 13th. And then I got Heroes on the 15th. I say 15th and 16th, but isn't that like the 14th through the 16th? I know I've been meaning to change that date to make it accurate. Yeah, it's 14th, 15th, and 16th, with the party being on the 13th. So I'll make sure I get that updated so it's a little more obvious. But then we got Simone and Chaikin and Gossett, Koi Fam, and Dan Brereton again in mid-August. So good number there. So now I've got 3 people entered. I'll give everybody 1 more minute, and then we're gonna just pick the winner between whatever we got in there at the time. So and I saw, there was a we did the I can tell you now, the Sean Gordon Murphy thing was a complete sellout. There were 8, and we did say 8. I know that initially I didn't think we were going to say the number of people that or the number of commission opportunities that were available, but then we did end up saying it. There were 8 commission opportunities. They all were picked up in the first 15 minutes of announcing them. So that was very cool. There was some confusion from people on Facebook about it. They were like, why if I'm not going to the show, we have to pay another $1,000? It wasn't written up very well. But the thing was, at least I tried to explain it succinctly, that, Sean Gordon Murphy's usual rates, I mean, as we defined at the beginning, is more like 12 and a half, somewhere around in there for a commission of that quality. So when he was doing them at 10, he was basically discounting them which I know is a lot of money, and it's hard to say that, but it's like, he was doing that because he was doing it for the show. And so basically, if you weren't going to the show, he didn't want to exclude you from the opportunity, because he knows how many fans of his have wanted to get one of these commissions. So the way it was said to me when we talked about it was like, well, if they're not going to go to the show, then the price is 11, and I'll give you the full $1,000 on top of it, to take care of the show. So it wasn't like people were paying $1,000 for shipping or something like that. It was more, if you can't make it to the show, we don't want to exclude you, because that wouldn't be fair to his fans, and that was kind of how that was shaped out. So that's how it worked out. Hopefully I described it better on Facebook. They were kind of being a-holes on Facebook, but not, whatever. I mean, everybody likes to have something to complain about at the end of the day. I mean, it makes them feel smarter and more intelligent. One guy saying, "Oh, you have to go to a lame show to pick this up." I mean, somebody who's gifted enough to be able to hang out with lots of rock star artists, would say something like that. But it is what it is. It doesn't bother me. But I wanted everybody clear to make, because shouldn't have reflected negatively on Sean at all. I mean, that was just their approach, and I didn't ask him to do that. I trust me, I was, he was already going to give me a percentage of the sales to from the commissions themselves. Doing that, charging that a little extra more if you weren't going to the show. Was their idea, and I'm not going to tell them how to do their stuff. But anyway, I'm going to draw the winner now, because we only have the 3 still in there. So this will be very interesting to see which of the 3 get it. CW Rawl, or Raleigh. Is it Rowley? I don't know. But CW, please email me, bill@comicartfans.com, and I will hook you up with Colin, and we will get your name set up over at Wicked Comic Con, so you can go to either a VIP window or a will call window and pick up your ticket. So we will, awesome, congratulations. And again, if you ever see Tariq at a show, give him a high five. Jason, you're out of luck. It's already over, Jason. No free ticket for you. I'm going to close this one, so we can't talk about it anymore. There we go. Now it's ended. Yes, so fantastic. And I can tell you that we will have another announcement next week for another guest, and they will have commission opportunities, and affordable ones for everybody. I mean, more in line with that artist, just like Sean's commission prices were in line with what he was doing. But we'll have another guest announcement next Thursday to start the show. I don't know if they'll be on the show with me, but they might. I hope they will. And because that'll be a lot of, it'll make for a very fun conversation, I can guarantee it. And we probably won't have ticket sales available until closer to Comic Art Live, my guess, and the hotel setups. But we are working on the site work right now to put all that together. So hopefully it'll happen soon. But again, another guest announcement next week, and I know, and it's going to excite many of you. To me, it's just as big as Sean being a part of the show. I'm very, very, very excited to be able to announce this next guest. And then after that, I think we'll be able to start announcing some guests a little bit more frequently. I mean, now that we've got a date and everything's locked in and set. But Bill, I just want my hat that you owe me and drink tickets in North Carolina. I haven't gotten you that hat yet, Jason. Is that true? I feel like I've sent you a hat already, but I probably haven't. Anyway, you just tell me, Jason. I'll take care of you. All right. So what do we got here? It's already 10 to 11. Let me just get into my heritage picks, and then I can show off the EXP video, and then get into the CAF update, so I can bring Mr. Snork in. And I bet I didn't give Mr. Snork his link. I bet if I check my email, there's probably an email from Chris once again reminding me that I didn't send him a link. So I better do that first, or I'll be hearing about it. I probably already heard about it. Yep, there it is, Chris Snork. I need a link. And hey, I already see some SketchUp sales too. Thank you. Let's see. Let me get this over to Chris. And I can thank Matt Moore and Michael McIsaac for picking up some of these SketchUps already. And that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, you were snorked. All right. I got it. It's emailed over to you. Okay, now I am switching screens again, and we were going to get the heritage picks in here this week. I actually picked 12 this time around. I couldn't help myself for some reason, and it doesn't normally happen, but heritage had some decent stuff in it this time around, and more than I could say no to. So let me close this window here. All right, so first up was this, it's a Galactus, it's got Nova in it, it's got Silver Surfer, it's got Eternity in it, and it's a Wellington Alves piece. I think it's probably a commission, but I really liked it. I've seen some of Wellington's pieces before, and I just thought this one was pretty nice. Get some Kirby Crackle in there, and a well-drawn Eternity. And yeah, I liked it. I mean, this is like the first piece I picked when I was going through it. I just really enjoyed it a lot, and it was a winner. Then next up, a Murphy Anderson Hawkman sketch. I mean, you can't go wrong with something like that, right? I mean, I like this one a lot. I don't think I own anything by Murphy Anderson, but I'd even bid on this piece because it's really awesome. And I know we have some Hawkman fans out there. Then next up, I mean, I love anything from Eagle, the UK publication. This is by Frank Bellamy, and it's from a King David story. But I mean, you can never go wrong with the colors in these pieces. I don't care what it could be, a Dan Dare, illustration, interior piece. But I just love it. I mean, look at these last 4 panels. I mean, I love the design, just the way the trees are done. I mean, this is just, and I love this last panel here. This thing is nice. Death to the Philistines. So this is just, I mean, it's just gorgeous. I love the Dan Dare stuff. I'd probably rather have something like that from Lawrence, right? Don Lawrence, but this is a great piece too. I mean, and they don't come up too often. Then I picked this one just because I always like J. Scott Campbell's stuff, and I thought this was a fun piece because it's just a bunch of rough pieces that he's working out for this black cat statue design. And for those of you who like process stuff, and I know there's a lot of people in the audience that likes that and are also fans of Campbell's, and I know we have a lot of fans of Campbell's. I just thought this was probably going to end up being a relatively affordable piece, but it's really nice. It's definitely nice. And I remember always going to Mitch's desk, right, or his setup in San Diego, and I remember when he had tons of these. Never bought one, and they were probably a lot more affordable 10, 12 years ago. So yeah, this is a good one. Kai Carpenter. I mentioned Kai a few weeks back, and so I thought it was odd to see a piece of his in a heritage, comic art auction. But I love Kai Carpenter's work. He's a phenomenal painter. He's done a lot of work for Magic the Gathering and a few other gaming and those sorts of publications as well. And so, yeah, his stuff's just great. And while the subject matter it's got tentacles, it would have been good for a little while ago. But I like it. Kai is a great artist, and it's again Kai, Kai Carpenter. And what is it called? The Last God Book 1. So it's a book cover. Very, very nice. Bill, can you link the sketch up again? Oh man, Jason. Yes, I can. I can do it. Sorry, got too many windows going here, but I'll do it. I'll do it right here for you. Back in the chat for you. All right, so back here to Heritage. Next up, we got. I love Jim Chung's work, man, and this is a Chung inked by Morales Infinity page, and the two of them together, I mean, they're just magic. I mean, look at Cap, Hawkeye. You got a bunch of knocked out scrolls, but Jim's just amazing. And I've never owned a single page by him, but man, I would love to. I mean, his stuff is just awesome, and his work with, I mean, Morales' inks on Jim's stuff is just perfect. So this is a really nice page. On the extra one right there. Look at that. Only Cap can punch a scroll in the face like that. Anyway, great page. And then I picked a piece with Cap in it too, but this is by Coipel. And we know Coipel stuff is pretty pricey. So this one should end up being relatively affordable on the Coipel stage. It's an Avengers versus X-Men, but great images of Cap here being stoic. And, who knows? I didn't read the book, so I don't know what's on his mind, what's eating him up. But it's a Coipel piece, and again, fantastic inks by Mark Morales. So, two very nice pages highlighting Cap. Now, this is a Guy Davis Sandman Mystery Theater page. I love Guy Davis's stuff, and this is just a really, very dynamically laid out page. Lots of interesting action. And just the inking style here just makes this page all the more interesting. I love how it's effectively we're getting the action lines in their clothing in this panel, and again, this is just, it's gorgeous. Every single panel here is great. And Guy Davis is just amazing. Amazing illustrator. This is a fantastic page. And I don't know, I wasn't really a huge fan of the book, I hate to say it, but I loved his art in it. So I won't be bidding on this one, but somebody's going to be very happy when they get this piece because it's phenomenal. And we got a Nick Darrington piece. This is a Batman. I was gonna say we should guess how many characters are on the page, but we're not going to do that. But this is a Batman Universe page, and just crazy. All the Lantern Corps are all over the place back there. But if you're a fan of Darrington's work, and I mean, again, I know a lot of you are. I am. I love his technique, the way he works heavily, typically with blue pencil, before inks, and I just love that. So it's back to, if you enjoy the process that an artist goes through when they're creating a page, a piece like this is just a joy to really look at, because there's so many things added, erased, in here that you get to really kind of feel how he went through it to come up with this layout. Yeah, those are probably all good guesses, but I didn't count them in advance, so no prizes for you tonight. 3 more here to go through. I've shown Frank Godwin pieces before, Rusty Riley pieces, but man, every time, I mean, they're not all like grand slams, but this is a grand slam piece. Look at this beauty. This thing is unbelievable. First panel, I mean, a boy and his dog. I mean, that is like an etching. Look how gorgeous that is. Just the line work in there. I mean, that's jaw-dropping, man. That is unbelievable work. And I forget the year. What year was this done? This is in let's see, 48. I mean, the lighting in this last one, because of the lantern in the middle there. I mean, that's just again, every one of these. I mean, look at that. The last panel's amazing. The lettering's fantastic. So this is just unbelievable. I'll probably bid on this one because I would love to get one of these someday. It is breathtaking. It's almost like scratchboard. Absolutely, Chris. It really is. I mean, this is just some amazing stuff here. I mean, this should be like on a dollar bill. I mean, the way he's handled the line work on his face here, it's incredible. Yeah, no, it's amazing. 2 more to go here. This next one, I just thought this was a great page. This is from it's all Al Milgrom, and it's from Fantastic Four Annual 24. It's from the Korvac saga. So look, you got it's a Fantastic Four book, but you get all the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers all around them. And for me, I mean, Milgrom was Marvel, in this period. So this is a 91. So I mean, I think Milgrom more in the 80s myself, but again, just a pretty cool page. Lots and lots of heroes on it, and it's already over 1,000. I think it showed. So yeah, it's a piece that I think a lot of people are going to want, just because of the amount of characters on it. You get Thor on there too. Look at that. It is awesome. Is it Korvac or Korvac? I don't know. Let me see here. I'll go and look at the description. Korvac is what it says, with an A. So from the Korvac saga. All right. Last but not least, I mean, how could I not pick a Bill Sienkiewicz? I actually have a Bill Sienkiewicz in my my picks tonight too. But this is a Gamora, and just probably a convention sketch kind of thing. But Bill's still got it. I mean, so he's doing a movie version of Gamora, but it's awesome. I'd love to have this one. I love Bill's stuff. I've never owned a color piece by him, so I envy all of you that have had the good fortune of picking them up. And hey, I've got a couple more buys here. Mikhail and Jason, Brian Norton, Otherworld Antiques. Thank you, one and all, for being early buyers of the mystery sketch. I sincerely appreciate that. As do all of the artists, all 40 of the artists participating this time around. So now it is time. It is time for my EXP video from Nick Barucci. He's on the show, his own show, every Friday, 7 p.m. until 8:15. Never ends at 8. He always runs over, but it's good because his show is fun. He's got good art for sale, and we're going to see a preview of the artwork that he is bringing to his show tomorrow.
Hey everybody, this Friday, April 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern, Amy's giving me funny looks, just trying to get your attention. So this Friday, April 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern, the original art experience is going to have great art. So let's talk about the art so that Amy doesn't give me any more faces. We're going to have X Factor 47 by Kieran Dwyer. This was a really powerful issue. We're going to have page 2, page 3, page 6, and check out page 25. It's funny, I've said this before, the issues before this and the issues after this were Louise Simonson and Paul Smith. And even though the Apocalypse and Archangel was all Louise and Walter Simonson, it was Kieran Dwyer who wrote and drew a fill-in issue that really started talking about it again. Then we're going to have Thanos vs. Hulk by Jim Starlin. A little bit of Thanos, a little bit of Bruce Banner, a little bit of Hulk, a little bit more Bruce Banner and Hulk and Thanos. And then we're also going to have Incredible Hulk number 20 by Ron Garney. That is gorgeous. We're going to have some Hellblazer by John Higgins. Kind of hoping that page doesn't sell because it's the only John Higgins art I have. But if it goes, it goes. And Rarer and Rarer Spider-Man by Tom Lyle. These pages are getting harder and harder to come by. We'll also have some commissioned cover art. We might even have a giveaway. So this Friday, Amy's like, you didn't tell me about a giveaway. She's giving me that look. This Friday, April 21st, 7 p.m., only on the original art experience. And hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring. Let everybody know about Friday's show. It's going to be fun. We have a great time. See you then.
There you go. You'll see that tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So I just got my videos from my son for the calf update, and I will do my best to kind of present them in an unorthodox way, but I'm sure I can make it work. So, it's kind of interesting. Now, this is for the period of April 10th through the 16th. And remember last week, Mike had one big sale that pushed it up to, he had a $200,000 sale that pushed the thing up to $345, because so without it, $145. And I think the week before that, it was around $150 or around in there. Well, this time around, it's $157,000. So without Mike's one sale a week and a half ago, we would have had 3 consecutive weeks right around $150,000 in sales from art dealers. Now, of course, Anthony had a big, sale on Monday, so that might skew next week's totals. But that is kind of interesting to see sales be that kind of flat, right? I mean, that's not normal. I have not checked to see if it's a volume issue. Are we just seeing fewer pieces bought? Are they the same amount, but people are buying, more inexpensive art? I don't know, but that's an interesting thing to see that 3 consecutive weeks right around that figure. Not normal at all for this time period. So I don't know what it means. But top sellers for last week: Panel Page had 4 sales, $46,000. Anthony had 77 sales for $35,000. I mean, he is the king of the low dollar stuff. $500 average for Anthony's stuff, compared to a almost $11,500 average for Panel Page. Then you got Will. He sold 6 pieces for $23,000. Ramita Man, 13 sales, $21,000. Then Felix, 13 sales, just over $17,000. Oh, come on. I'm not gonna highlight those. But anyway, so that's where those are at. Here, let me see if I can pull up the video for, yes, I think I can do it this way. So yeah, this will play a little different than usual, but we'll roll with it. Here we go. So top 6 sales from last week. And here we go. Make this thing full screen. There we go. All right. So $157,281 in sales. The number one sale was by Glenn from Panel Page, of course, was this Angela 3 cover by Greg Capullo. It was not a good scan that I ended up getting from this one. Asking price was $35,000 for it. Then next up, Will Gabrielle sold this DC Comics Presents 25 cover. Dick Giordano and Ross Andrew were the artists on this one. Asking price $9,500. Then we had a Rob Liefeld Captain America 5, page 11. And again, ugly scan, because I think Panel Page deleted these really quickly. But the asking price on this one was $7,500. Then Will again. This is a Tyler Kirkham Amazing Spider-Man number 6 Legacy 900 cover, the homage version, of course. It went for $6,900. Then this Alex Ross was sold by Mike, asking price $6,000. It was the cover to Green Hornet number 4, painted in 2010. Very nice. And last but not least, a Daniel Warren Johnson Magic the Gathering page card art. And this one sold for $5,000, which is kind of cheap for Magic the Gathering art anymore these days. So here, I gotta remove this one from the studio and pull up the next one. So, but it was a beautiful piece. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Now, yeah, Magic the Gathering from Daniel Warren Johnson. Who would have thought, Jeff? I mean, but that's cool. That's cool. I'm sure Daniel was pretty excited to do that. As many of, if you guys follow the Magic the Gathering market, it is a really crazy art market for artists that are doing their work traditionally. So $5,000 is a very affordable price, because there's some paintings that go on those cards when they're brand new and they're selling, in the $20,000 to $40,000 range. So let's talk about auction houses. We had this would be a very mediocre average week for them, I guess. $328,000 for this period, as opposed to $391 the week before. And I've got to do that same presentation thing here for the auction videos. We'll see the top 3 from eBay, and then the top 3 from Heritage here. So let's get this full screen. First up, we've got a John Romita Sr. Ultimate Spider-Man sketch cover. So, you don't see too many sketch covers by Romita Sr. We know the seller. He had a terrible photo of his artwork too. Listed at $6,500. It actually sold for $4,900 with a make offer. Then another bad scan, unfortunately, for this great Mignola Hellboy illustration. It was for like a coffee cup or something. He had $5,000 as the asking price on this one, and it sold for $2,500 with a make offer. And this is a David Lapham Harbinger #1 page, page 24, sold for $4,950. And that seems like a lot of money, but you never know. Then I knew it. This Liam Sharp was going to be up there. This was the #1 sale from Heritage Weekly last week. Mark Farmer Inc.'s Punisher 88 cover sold for $11,400. Then I should have picked these Schomburg illustrations, Subby, Human Torch, Cap and Bucky, went for $9,600. And then last but not least, a Milton Caniff Terry and the Pirates Daily from 1934 went for $6,600. And Jason says he's mad about missing out on that Harbinger page. I didn't read Harbinger, so what's so good about Harbinger? I guess I'll pose that question to my next guest here. Why is Jason like in agony over that page? I don't understand why. Again, never having read it, there's got to be a good reason for it. But you know what time it is?
It's never not going to make me laugh, I think.
I got to come up with another intro video or intro audio for you. I'll come up with something better for next week. How are you doing, Fred?
I'm good. How about you?
I am fantastic. So tell me why is Harbinger so important?
You're talking to the absolute wrong guy.
Oh,
I didn't read it either.
Okay.
I'm also, like, full disclosure, not a David Lapham fan. Not a Valiant guy. Yeah. So you'll have to ask Jason.
All right. Well, see, he's all right. Maybe I'll bring Jason on for 5 minutes next week, and he'll tell me why Harbinger Lapham pieces are
changed his life.
Yeah. I'd love to hear. He can break down and cry and tell us why it's so important to him. Quite
a price, though.
Yeah, that's a crazy price. I really actually had to go back and double check it. I was like, really? That's what it's going for? But there must be a lot of Harbinger fans out there. Mr. Redjack says we need spotlights flashing and things when you come in.
Pyro.
Exactly. You're gonna have to work that out behind you. That would be good though. Yeah. And Murdoch says he was an Archer and Armstrong guy. I did read some of that, not all of it, but I did talk a bit. Yeah, maybe Dinesh would have the answer for that too. And I said maybe it was Dinesh that picked it up. You never know. All right. Well, let's get into our picks. Now, I didn't get to use the Untapped too often this last week. Just so you know, I didn't get to drink as often as I would have liked to.
Same.
But,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've abstained a bit myself.
well, we'll have to correct that for this next week.
We'll fix it.
You know what? I actually did use it though. But you know what I put in it? A Sam Adams.
I saw that, and I didn't want to judge you, but I saw it.
Where was it? I was at Universal. So you know you don't have too many great choices for beer at Universal.
Sure.
So Sam Adams was about as risky as I was willing to go at the restaurant we were at. So all right, let me get your picks in here. Remove that and present. And it's good you got a Cowan piece to start off with too. So let's see here. Where are we? There it is. Okay, it's in a better spot for me. So get a like on here. This is in Shannon Slayton's Calf Gallery, Dennis Cowan Hardware #6 page. And I mean, this has got everything you want in a great Dennis Cowan page, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly why I picked it. I mean, there's a ton of great action. You know, the way nobody drew hardware like he did for obvious reasons. And that's on great display there in the middle. It's just all action. I think I kind of talked about this a little bit ago when we were showing that Guy Davis page, but the directionality of the inks does so much here for, you know, the action that's on the page, so that he makes such just great decisions when putting these panels together.
Oh yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, when I see works like this, I mean, it's just what makes Cowan so special. I mean, his line direction and the inks, I mean, all that. He's just amazing, and he takes so many liberties, I think, with I mean, look at that, you know, the foot. I mean, he doesn't really worry too much. He's always just worried about telling the story on the page, and however best way to do it, he does. So yeah, I love this. The moment I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is classic Cowan.
I see so much Simonson in this too, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, you know, that's true. I didn't even think about that, but now you say it, yeah. I mean, the way he's got a line quality that's very Simonson, doesn't he? That's interesting. I've never really thought of that before, but now that you mention it, it's like, shoot, almost all of Dennis's Cowan has a similar kind of line quality.
The poses too, like those two like punching poses and those top panels are really Simonson-esque.
Yeah, definitely. No, well, great pick, and congrats to Shannon on that one. That is a very nice piece. Now we've got a Mickey Anamentadu piece, and let's see, it's Chris Sprouse and Carl Story, and a Legionnaires piece, and it's awesome. I love Sprouse.
Me too. Yeah, he was a really like early favorite of mine. This is the book where I found Legion of Superheroes and have been a fan ever since. I love the roll call pages. So cool. You know, you get so many characters on this page. I think Sprouse did all of these redesigns for the Legionnaires of the SW6 Legion, and they're just so streamlined, so cool. Like, they all pay some kind of homage to the Legionnaires, you know, like previous costumes. These guys go through a lot of costume changes over the years, but also picked it because it's got my favorite Legion recurring villain in Mano against my favorite Legionnaire in Ultra Boy.
I wasn't reading these, but you know, the thing is, there's something about Chris Sprouse's work that I've never been able to put my finger on. I mean, I look at the way he draws faces. I think that he just draws
cheery.
It is very happy, and it's interesting. The way he draws handles light. Like, you look at, I mean, Gossamer, but the way he handles her lip, right? I mean, it's just kind of, he doesn't worry about defining it. He has this interesting way of picking what to highlight. Same thing like on Saturn Girl. I mean, he just, but it works. It's almost as if he took a photograph and just said, you know, there's certain things I'm leaving in, and certain things I'm going to take out, and it still works in the way he draws these characters. And they are kind of cartoony, but it's just a wonderful style. I mean,
you can see a little like Adam Hughes in here.
Yeah,
you know, Cully Hamner definitely like cribbed a little bit from this. So yeah, there was it was a, I don't want to say pervasive style at the time, but it was definitely a popular kind of like look at the time.
Jason's giving you a hard time in the chat.
I don't know.
Oh boy.
We'll settle this at Heroes.
Yeah. Arm wrestling, Jason. All right. No, that's a good one. And I don't think we picked too many pieces by Sprouse in the past. So that's we should do that a little more often. But yeah, I love his stuff.
Outside of Tom Strong, I mean, not super
Yeah.
prolific.
That is true. That is very true. I love his stuff on Tom Strong. So here we have a Crisis on Infinite Earths page. Prez and Ordway. And Jim McNally. Okay. This is a great page.
It's just such an emblematic Crisis page. I mean, this is all the panels, all the detail. I mean, Perez is like packing the characters into every panel. I mean, this is anything and everything you could want from a Crisis page, especially if you're a Villains fan.
Yeah, no, I agree. Every panel is awesome, and you're right. I mean, that was the Villains in Crisis were, their stories were told really well. I thought. I haven't read Crisis in a couple of years. I need to go back and read that. I'm sure there's many people here that read it a couple times a year because it's such a dang good story. But
I make it a point to read it every year or so.
Yeah. I bet you it's been 5 years since I read it. I really need to go back and read it. And again, not even being a DC guy, I loved it. And partially because of Perez, but man, it was just, the story was just so good. I didn't need to know the characters to just fall in love with the story. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it worked really well for me.
I have that massive painted Alex Ross poster that they did, and it's in the room where I used to keep my comics, and my brother and I would sit there and we would name off every character on the poster until one of us couldn't find one, and then you had to drink.
Wow, this started early on. I hope you were at least of legal age.
When this was in the last 10 years or so.
Okay, all right. I was thinking maybe this is when you were 14 or 15 or something.
No,
good. But yes, great page. I never owned a Crisis page, but yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Tall order.
Yeah, it is. But I wouldn't mind. I definitely wouldn't mind that, or an early Teen Titans page. That's a tall order too, though.
You have a good friend that's got a few of those.
Yeah, that is true. So here we've got a J.G. Jones, and what was this for? This was a Amazing Spider-Man, Wizard World Philadelphia variant. I mean, I love J.G. Jones' work, and this is really beautiful. I wish we had a larger scan of it, but
yeah,
great image.
Downside. I love how, so there's a lot of painters who paint comic book covers, and there's a lot of, there's a few painters who paint comic interiors, but J.G. Jones, like, to me, manages to still be his own thing. Like, it's always a standout, when you're looking at a J.G. Jones painting. And I'm not enough of a painter to understand exactly why or how that is. I just know it when I see it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to be said about the way the pieces are lit. There's a lot to be said about the chroma of the pieces, kind of like how rich everything looks or doesn't look. Like Spider-Man, for example, obviously he's red and blue and like that whole thing, but like the fact that he's a really rich red and blue, he's vibrant, and then the reds and the blues are kind of like repeated or echoed in the sky, I think is a really nice touch. I just love his, like, the quality of his work. And I don't mean quality in the sense of like how well it's done. I mean like the uniqueness of it and the fact that like he's his own thing. Yeah,
no, I agree. There's always been something in JG's work that I've always admired. It does stand out. I mean, because you can think of a lot of different people who paint today, whether it's Mayhew or Alex Ross or whatever, but JG always kind of had his own style for me, and even in, like, because he used to do some convention sketches that were lightly painted and stuff, and I always felt they were just so unique and so him. You could tell his style even in a quick an hour painted commission piece or something that he would do at a show. So yeah, this is awesome, and I would love to see this thing in person, because I'm sure it is probably more vibrant than we're seeing it here. I mean, because let's see, he has an additional image posted for it. I mean, it's small too, but well, that's probably a little oversaturated. Yeah, but
Mhm.
okay. I guess I shouldn't have looked at it. I like this one better, but yeah, I love his stuff, and I don't think I own anything by him now. But I even love his when he does interior stuff and it's painterly and stuff. I mean, he really does a fantastic job. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, good pick there for sure. And let me get the like on there. So wait a minute. What do I get? Stephen S. All right. Next up, okay, we're in James Miller's Calf, and it's a Ryan Stegman piece. Now, is this a commission?
I believe this is a commission. Yeah, I think this came from Felix. I love how active this whole thing is. I mean, it's like the whole image is moving and it's all kind of going one direction, which I think is so cool. To say nothing of like the figural work is just awesome on this. If a lot of times Stegman looks like exaggerated to me, and it's not always like a positive. But I think maybe it's the crouching pose. I don't know, but like the anatomy is so perfect here, and I just, the flying cars and whatever is very thematic, obviously for a 2099 character. But I love what he did with the background. Like I just think this whole thing like really works as a piece, a unit.
Well, I agree, and I think it's a challenging composition to make work well, and he's done some amazing things with it, because the horizontal lines in the back, I mean, as action lines, it kind of gets repetitive, but just the shapes of the vehicles, the pose of Spidey there and everything, it's I don't know, it's just like it's just well done. It's just not when I first looked at it, I didn't like it, but it kind of grew on me even before I thought he had picked it.
Right, nothing on here's static, which I like a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I'm sure who got this piece? Do you remember?
I don't.
Oh, James Miller. Cool. Well, I'm sure they're thrilled to have it. I mean, it's a beauty. Do we not have any comments on this? Come on, everybody.
Ooh.
What are you waiting for? Here, I'm gonna put the link to this thing right in the chat. Somebody, come on, be the first to comment on this piece.
James probably waited a while to get that baby too.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah. I might even leave a comment on it tonight. I'm going to set it aside and make sure he gets one. So, and clearly he's got a commission from Aaron Connolly too. So definitely likes some Felix repped people. Next up, I think was a Ramona Fradon piece in Derek's collection, and everybody knows I love Ramona Fradon stuff. This is a beauty.
I do too, and I've never picked Ramona. This is a definite nostalgia pick for me because I grew up on Super Friends, Challenge of the Super Friends. It's probably why I like DC Comics so much, if I'm being honest with myself. And this is just so, I mean, there's so much cool stuff happening on this page. It's so clean. I mean, it's like all the panels are balanced, like each individual panel like has such a great composition. Like look at all the threes that are going on here. There's the triangle in the first panel, the triangle, the second character or panel, the triangle in the third panel. I mean, there's just so much great panel design.
You're right. I mean, it's funny. It's almost in all of them. You've got a really elongated triangle in here. Yeah. But wow, that's cool. But yeah, her work is so darn good. I love it. Man.
And she's so perfect for this content.
Yeah. I mean, she just that Batman in the last panel. It's just so cool. I mean, she's just got her own approach to these characters and her style. I mean, it's so awesome. I can't believe I've never owned a piece by her, but seeing something like this makes me feel like I should like check out Berkey's site and see what the heck he's got stashed away somewhere that while she's still a little bit affordable. Rounded corners. I know, Marcus. I know. Does that mean it's a flashback, the whole thing? I don't know. I'd still take it, though. All right. So, Derek, I already got the like on there. Well, congrats, Derek. Derek added a few nice pieces this last week. Yeah. So, I'm glad you picked that one. Now, we've got a piece in the collection of Brent Lilly. Just started their calf gallery, everybody, in April 2023,
and added a bunch of bangers.
Yeah, I popped in there as well. This was probably one of my favorites. Mike Mignola. Now this is Hellboy Wolves of Saint August, the final page. Man, oh man,
This might be my favorite Hellboy page on CAF. This is one of my favorite Hellboy pieces, period. And you know, it's obviously all about that middle panel, but this is like, for me, peak Hellboy. This is as good as Hellboy ever got, or ever would be. I love all the, this story is full of like leaves and statuary and skeletons and werewolves and like castles and like anything you want from Mike Mignola. It's in this story. It's a perfect, it's not long. The book isn't long, or I think this was in the, it was either in Dark Horse Presents, or it was in those weird newspaper things that they did in the comic shops. I can't remember which, but it was Dark Horse Presents, because I remember there was a cover where he had like a cross he was swinging. Anyway, I wish this scan was like as big as it could get, but I know, Jason, it's a weakness. I admit it. I cop to it.
No, this is a winner. I mean, all around. I probably would have picked it too if you hadn't picked it, but I completely agree that there was a lot of fantastic stuff added to Brent's CAF gallery. And look, that's a good way to welcome him to the site, right?
Yeah.
Lots of comments on here. That's great. Thank you, everybody. I mean, that's always a good thing. When we get somebody to come out of the woodwork, because you figure this guy's probably been collecting for quite a while and avoided CAF all that time. So I'm glad they found their way here.
Me too. And I hope if I ever become a millionaire, that he is open to selling this to me. I really might be my favorite image of Hellboy ever.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, you know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to shoot him a text, through the site saying, hey, if you ever think of selling this, give me a year's notice. But no, it's very cool. Very cool. And I agree with you. This is like from that, to me, the peak style of Mignola with Hellboy, right? I mean, I just love this period, and it's a gorgeous image. Let's see here. What do we got now? Araga makes the list with this. Was this for Leon Yu? Yep, it was. And Dexter Vine inks. And I think I actually once owned this page, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, I held it in my hands and wanted to own it, but it was a close one. But I really like Leon Yu's work, and this thing is unbelievably awesome. He's got he's got his own style. You can almost say it's a little Charest-like in the way he approaches some of his line work,
especially
his figure
this
work.
time period.
Yeah, definitely. But it's a little bit heavier, a little bit grittier, and that's what always attracted me to his stuff. I always preferred his style over Travis's for whatever dumb reason. I always did. So this is a great image.
This is my favorite period of his work for sure. I think it's cool to see vines on him here versus Alan Gwillan, which was so much more common. But there's certainly no slouch, obviously. But the way Dexter like tech pens everything and like picks it apart on that guy's figure is really well. You already said Travis, right? It's very like Travis like. And the composition is also very like this. This is like something from Travis's Wildcats run for sure, right down to the sight being used on Wolvie and Cyclops there.
Right.
So it's really reminiscent of that as well. But I really like this for all the same reasons you said. Like I like that it's basically like a grittier, nasty version of Travis Charest.
There you go. And I didn't say I didn't like Travis. I just said I had a thing for Lionel Moore. I don't know why. To each their own. I like Travis's stuff a lot. It just never appealed enough to me to want to own any. I don't know why.
If you didn't, we would be having words at here. My Charest is on the wall right there.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, all right. I didn't say anything bad. I wasn't like when Anthony said Cockrum wasn't even mediocre or whatever the hell he said that one day. I know what my limits are.
I could see workmanlike for Cockrum, but I would never say not even mediocre.
Right. I think he was just being mean. but it's Anthony. What are you going to say? Now, this is a awesome piece in Wolvie Fans Calf Gallery by Adam Kubert. And is this this is one, I feel like this is one that was at my house. Maybe Mikhail or whoever, I think Mikhail was here. I don't know if he's still here, if you can confirm it, or James Siegel. But yeah, I think we saw this one in person. This thing is unbelievable. It's 20 by 30 inches.
And it's just pure power.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked, so Adam is probably in my top 3 Hulk artists. And to see him, like, it sounds a little corny when considering the character, but like how unleashed this whole thing is, like, it's just raw power. Like, everything about this just exudes like Hulk, which I think is so cool. It's just perfect.
Now we got to get Wolvie Fan a proper scanner, but other than that, it has been confirmed. It was one of the pieces that Adam brought to my place. But yeah, I mean, these things were amazing to see in person because they're like movie poster size. It's just crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. And I think he's going to bring some of those with him when I do the show on Sunday, so people will get to see him, the actual scale. I mean, he told me, like, when he was working on those, because they're so big, they're bigger than his drawing board. So when he's working on the bottom part, he has to roll up the top part. When he's working on the top part, he has to roll up the bottom part. So it sounds like a chore to work on these pieces at that scale, but
we're all the beneficiaries, though.
Absolutely. And he says he likes that size because he gets to cram more details into it, and printing can handle that level of detail, whereas in the past it couldn't. So he's like, yeah, printing's so much better now. I could never work like this before.
That's so cool that he, like, from a technical standpoint, can go nuts.
Right. Well, congrats to Wolvie Fan on this one. That one's awesome. I'm curious. Remember when we had an interview with him? He had a lot of stuff framed. I wonder if he'd actually go out and try to frame this thing, because as large as it is,
I would.
I'd want to look at it every day.
I've got a Frank Cho piece on the wall over there that's just as big, maybe a bit bigger.
All right. So it's possible.
It's very expensive, but it's worth it.
Let's see. Now you've got a piece here from Mikhail, and I picked a piece from Mikhail too. So I'm breaking the rules a little bit here, but I think it had to be done. This one was a stunner. This Ethan Young piece, and I'm not very familiar with, but this is just a fantastic piece. I mean, I love the inking in it, the technique in the brick, the shadow, depth. I mean, everything about this thing is structurally and technically fantastic. I mean, I love this.
Yeah, I have, like, no real affection for the character. I think I've said that ad nauseum about Sandman characters, but the inking in the shadow alone was like, I just have to pick this. And, like, there's, like, the stonework in particular, like, there's like Mobius in there. There's a little, like, Topi in there. There's some, like, European influence for sure in those bricks and in the shadow as well. I don't see it as much on the figure, but those bricks really remind me of, like, Blueberry or something.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No, this piece is the shadow is what gets you.
Yeah.
But then you start looking at it, like you said, the detail in the bricks. I mean, Topi, definitely, you can say that. The line work is just really, really cool. I mean, I'm looking at things that I'm not even looking at the character. Then I look over to her, and it's just like, she's done really well too. The jeans, I mean, and then how he's just kind of more simplifying the her skin. I mean, it's a wonderfully contrasty image. I want to go back and just look at the whole thing here, because
you can tell, like, I love having a piece where you can tell that the artist, like, where he was having fun. He or she was having fun, and where they were stretching their legs a little bit. I think those pieces are my favorite pieces to own, and I would say this is one of those. Certainly
is. Well, that was a good piece to wrap it on too for you. That's a good one, Ethan Young. And I remember, I think I read the description. What do you say? Ethan has been making waves with his commissions, and rightly so. They continue to grow in complexity, skill, and even size. So I'll have to check out other work by Ethan.
He's a lot of fun on Instagram. That's where I follow him.
I'm still not an Instagram guy.
I know.
One of these days.
For others, if you're interested in Ethan, he's very active on Instagram.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave that search open so I can look at it later. All right. Let me go ahead and get to my picks here. This tab over here. And come on.
I can't believe we both picked ML. Can you imagine the size? His head is already huge.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how big it is now?
I know. I can't remember which one did I pick. Oh, I remember which one I picked. All right. So let's see here. We've got this is in it was Comic Art Boston. We know Comic Art Boston has a thing for the Westerns. And this is a Dick Ayers, Saul Brodsky piece. And I don't know, I'm always a sucker for those Marvel Masterworky kind of pinup pieces. And I just thought this one was cool. I mean, how often, I mean, Westerns were regaled differently back in the day, right? I mean, I don't know what year this was from. Does it mention it in here anywhere? No. But I don't know. I just like this image a lot, and I'm not usually a big Dick Ayers fan, but the character is just cool. I mean, I love the imagery. I love the inking that's done on it. I thought just as a piece and a little bit of Marvel history and nostalgia, I just liked it. I had to pick it.
I always like the format of these masterwork pinups. I thought they were really cool.
No, I agree. I mean, because I think what are the ones that are more potent or powerful, or like the Thing. I've seen it. There's a few Fantastic Four pieces
Hulk,
that are
always
the Hulk, right?
Spidey villains.
So you get it. This one's just kind of a it's a Western, but hey, I picked it. I like it, and a twinge of Kirbyism. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Especially Nancy there.
Yeah, Nancy for sure. Yeah. But anyways, congrats to Comic Art Boston on that one. That one's a nice pickup for you, my friend. Then, of course, I had to pick a Al Jaffe piece. So this one was let me get did I get the like on it? Here we go. Okay, so there we go. This is in Michael McIsaac's CAF gallery. And the funny thing was, there's only 40 pieces on CAF by Al Jaffe. How is that even freaking possible? I was like dumbfounded. I thought for sure there'd have to be at least 500 or something, right?
A couple hundred at least.
How can there only be 40? So there's I know that the fold-ins used to sell semi-regularly on Heritage and stuff. So I don't know why people aren't sharing any Al Jaffe art out there. But so hopefully we'll start seeing some more. I don't quite the fix is in. But anyway, so I know that this piece I think was posted right after Al's death, and so I'm glad Michael posted it. Maybe it'll force a few other people to kind of get off their butts and put some more of Al's artwork out there.
You can hope,
yeah, I know, and it's funny. While I see the fold-ins, you don't see a lot of his other like interior work out there. At least I don't feel like I have at auction or whatnot. So maybe it is a little rare, but where is it then? I don't get it. There's certainly a lot of Sergio Matt artwork out there. Yep. So anyway, but congrats, Michael. I mean, I don't know how long you've had it, but I'm glad it made its way to CAF or the Lucas Museum. Maybe I guess it could be there. Let's all try to figure it out. But Michael, congrats on this. I'm glad you're in the chat to see it. But yeah, this was a good piece. A very much in his style. I'd love to see this thing in person. Look at all those characters up there. But it's back to, I thought it was funny. I mean, I'll have to link that bio because even if you just listen to it, it was fun. It was told in whoever the narrator was did a fantastic job just telling his stories of his youth. But he was really into like drawing these crowd scenes when he was like 12. So it was just something that he liked to do, and it clearly carried over into his professional work too.
Definitely.
So, yeah. Let's see here. Next piece. This was a Nick's CAF gallery. I couldn't pass this one up. A Perez Archives piece, and let's see. It was for Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. But come on, man, you get all the Marvel and DC characters all crammed together in this amazing piece. I mean, look at that. Oh my gosh.
Wow. And for a guy who has a lot of really nice vintage Perez art, I mean, this has got everything.
Yeah. I mean, look at that.
Wow.
I know. I saw it and I was just like, doggone it, this thing is cool. There's Cyclops. Yeah. right? Just above
Uh,
Spider-Man, right where he should be. But yeah, look at that. I mean, it's so good. Again, mixing both DC and Marvel together. I mean, this is a fun piece. So yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta pick it. I love.
Really cool.
There's the thing. I mean, like, man, it's awesome. Awesome. So congrats, Nick, on this one. But I didn't read what it was for. You said it was something from Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. And Michael Lovett's had it for years. Okay, well, that's amazing that you got it from Michael. Obviously, Michael, a huge Perez fan. So this is your life piece, says Kazra.
So true.
Yeah, without question. Anyways, congrats, Nick. Love this one. Then I had to pick. Everybody knows I've got eight ball right next to the toilet, and I'm almost done with it finally after a couple months. But 8 ball inside front cover to issue 18. This is in Felix's calf gallery. I mean, how neat is that, right? I mean,
man,
I'd love to get anything from the book now that I have it's taken a while for it to kind of sink in how amazing the book is.
Seminal work.
Yeah. Halfway through it, I was still like, what? I'm questioning myself. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to like it. But now that I'm almost like 90% done with it, I'm totally in love with it. I love all of the, all of the homages and riffs and things that he does in there to classic comic books. I mean, it's just a wonderful time capsule. And then you throw in all of the insanity and, but so, yeah, I know that Felix tends to pick, he likes to get that one choice piece. He's got like probably one of the best Wagner mage pieces out there. He's got a great Killing Joke page. He tends to get like really great examples of stuff that he grew up with and he loves. Right. And so I saw this, I'm thinking, man, that's Felix and his approach to his collection to a T to get a great page like this. And I don't even need to talk about the significance of it or how beautiful it is and everything. I really picked it because I thought this is just classic Felix. He gets the piece he wants. He waits it out till he finds the piece he wants. So, I mean, I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's respect for the impulse control for sure, because there's a lot, I would say the majority of us do not have that.
You guys in the chat. No, exactly. I mean, I'm too, if I see something, I'll jump at it. But yeah, I'm sure he's probably seen one or two other pages and waited to get this one. So congrats to Felix on that one. Oh boy. Next up, this is the other piece by Mikhail. It's a Ben Templesmith Galactus and Silver Surfer piece. I've always loved Ben Templesmith stuff, so I was really picking this because of Ben. It just so happens to be in Mikhail's calf gallery, but man, Ben is he's just a talent, man. When he's doing a set of characters that he likes, I'm sure he puts in like this piece. I think he probably just puts in that extra effort. I mean, this thing it's just gorgeous. I don't know what the size is on it, but I'm sure it just has a presence all its own because it's so well done.
I love how it's edge to edge, I think, which is such a great choice for this image. And I think the palette is so unique and not something that I would typically associate with Ben's work, but
right.
Yeah, it's just, it's muted, but Galactus is such odd colors anyways, purple and blue, and you mix in some flesh tone in there, and obviously it works, right? But it's got to be tough to work with and to pull off, I think, effectively, and he definitely did. Yeah,
without question. So very cool. I like this one a lot. Congrats, Mikhail. So there you go. You got 2 picks this week, my friend. Next piece. This was a Michael Turner Witchblade cover. And we don't show off too much from Michael Turner because it's just hard to come by, and so you don't see new pieces pop up too often. But this is everything about Michael Turner's work that I think everybody loves. Just beautiful women, hyper detail. D-Tron was always a great inker. on his stuff. And I mean, this is just a gorgeous piece. I mean, I'm sure, in hand, it's probably like jaw dropping to see something like this.
And have the darkness on it too. I mean, double trouble.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, and did I even, let me see here.
In an unfortunately short career, the time that he spent doing this type of stuff was even shorter. Before he kind of broke off and started doing Fathom and Aspen and all that kind of stuff. I mean, his time at Top Cow was not long.
Yeah, this is a really great piece. Well, congrats, Dean, on this one. It's a beauty. Definitely, I'm sure, probably one of the prized possessions of Dean's. Then Kazra. I think Kazra was making waves this week for some reason. He just wanted to like flex his muscles and show off all the Sam Keith art he's had stashed away for years or something. But oh my God, this piece is unbelievable. Look at that. I mean, this is everything you would want in a Sam Keith page, Wolverine page, I should say.
I wanted to pick this so bad, but I picked Sam Keith last week, and I was like,
yes.
Oh, I can't do it 2 weeks in a row. Unless it's Mike Mignola, and then I can do it.
That's right, and Hellboy. But yeah, I know. I mean, and there were, I think, how many pieces did Kaiser post that were Keith? At least 3, I think, this week.
I think 4.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no MODOK. You're
no
absolutely
MODOK.
But damn, I mean, this is it's just gorgeous. And I had a different one that I was going to pick, and I decided to go with this one, but just because I just think that the inking on this one's exceptional. They always are, but this piece was really, really well done. I like the composition. I love the action lines, the throws and stuff on here. I just thought it was a more dynamic piece, and I really love this the top panel. He's about ready to stick it to him, but yeah. Congrats, Kazra. I mean, you've got good taste.
Yeah.
All right, 3 more to go here for me. Now, this is a Van Fleet piece. I just always liked his graphic style, and so you get an X-Files piece here, but it's something like where you're taking a photograph and then just reducing it to just the shadows. And I think Van Fleet always did a really good job of things like that in his work. And I love the painterly work, the textures that he put into the pieces. And so when I look at this, I mean, it's kind of, Bradstreet kind of does this similar kind of thing in his own way. But I look at this and I just like Van Fleet's style. I always have. And it's kind of almost like a silk screen, right? I mean, the way the things are layered in here. So yeah, just cool, very, very unique approach to his work. So yeah, kind of, I guess, unlike Bradstreet, like when you break stuff down this far, when you're basically just dealing with like light and shapes, more or less, like what other stuff you choose to include in here becomes so much more important. So like any of these like other graphical elements that he includes outside of Mulder and Scully, like the weird kind of like sun in the background, the barbed wire, the photograph, whatever that I'm guessing those are like, that's like chain link or something on the left. All of those things become so much more important, and you have to like then look at the thing as like a whole piece versus like just, whereas Bradstreet was more like, okay, like here's an image of the Punisher. Right. And like maybe there's like a shadow across the back to like make it. But I guess when I look at it, I'm thinking of like he kind of approached graphic elements maybe the same way, right? He would have a photograph, or he would have some like
the technique is similar.
Right. In terms of layout, I guess is what I was thinking. But yeah, with I love this piece. I mean, I'd like to own this piece actually. I was a big X-Files fan too, so
these covers were so cool, and nothing else like them on the stands at the time.
No. So, well, congrats to Jordan. Jordan, as we know, has his wonderful collection continues to get better and better, and I'm going to go back and read that. I actually didn't even know this was Jordan's piece. I just read that. So, congrats to Jordan on that one. I want to read his description later. See why, was it a first appearance? I don't know, but I mentioned earlier that I did pick a Sienkiewicz piece. Daredevil Love and War. Yeah, this is an Ivan R's calf gallery. I mean, you know, this has everything in a Sienkiewicz piece that you'd want that without Elektra in it or something, right? I mean, it's just beautiful. I love this the first panel. I love the close-ups on the characters. The old man has done incredibly well. There's just lovely storytelling in it. I mean, the bed being twice as big as it needs to be helps define the separation between the characters. I mean, man, it's just a really well executed piece, and I love the colors on it, the lighting. I mean, again, it has everything that you'd really like in a Sienkiewicz painted interior piece.
It shows so much range. I mean, for the artistic range, because like look at the portraiture, and then look at the lighting, and then what we so often, for better or worse, associate Bill Sienkiewicz with is like wild, slashy, graphic, like splashes of color and like dots and drips and things like that. And like there's none of that here, but it's still clearly Sienkiewicz and it's still gorgeous.
It definitely is. Yeah, I love this piece. Well, and Ivan, I know Ivan R's got a great calf gallery. I don't think I've been in a while, but member since 2004. Wow.
Whew.
Pushing, that's like 18 and a half years right now, from Italy too. Well, I got a weird request or a weird question on calf. First time, I never got this question before. Somebody wanted to know if I had a way to import their 2D gallery into calf. Of course I don't, but that's never come up before. I've never had somebody, when 2D galleries kind of came out, most people who were, overseas using calf just migrated their stuff over to 2D. I've never had a user want to migrate their stuff over to calf. Maybe the thought has been there, but it's an interesting idea. But since we don't work together, there'd never be a way to work something like that out. But I thought that was cool. I mean, it makes sense that somebody would want to have their stuff on both sites. So,
can you put up Mark Levy's comment?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the golds and even the pattern that's on the headboard of the bed. Yeah, for sure. I see that.
Yeah, Gustav Klimt was always a favorite of mine, so I can see that for sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that was clearly his work's an influence on Sienkiewicz for sure, as there are many other ones now. So this next piece is just kind of an off the wall piece. It reminded me of because when I was talking with Mark Nelson last week about his Kickstarter, I was trying to remember the name of an artist because we were talking about early science fiction artists or fantasy artists, and I could not remember this artist's name. And then Pastella posted this piece by J. Allen St. John, and so I was like, that's who I wanted to remind myself of. Why can't I click on that? There it goes. St. John, this is probably, does he list the year on here? 1922. I mean, because this guy died in 57, so he was doing these works. I mean, he was born in 1872, and so he's like one of the earliest kind of pioneers of fantasy artwork. And there isn't a lot of his stuff, certainly not a lot of his stuff on calf, but I know that the collectors of his work, of this genre of work, this is like a grail, because there isn't a lot of his work out there, and it's so early. I mean, so this was done in 22, so just so cool. I mean, he influenced everyone from Finlay to I don't know, Krenkel. I mean, you name it. I mean, this guy was the first. I mean, and so he would be an interesting person to kind of talk to some other to people who've got a better knowledge of him. Like it would be cool to do an hour show on his works and like and what was he doing these works for? Because there wasn't a lot of material to be out there, published material that he could be drawing it for, other than historical books or whatnot. But he clearly always had a fantasy bent to his stuff. So
this almost has like especially the figures, it almost has like a Renaissance painting vibe.
It does, very much so. If you
like the muscle masses look like I don't know, like Caravaggio or
right. Right, and there's several color pieces out
Wow.
there. I think, yeah. Again, there's not a lot. That's the thing. So, so yeah, it was just funny. I saw this and I'm like, darn it, that's what I want. Who I wanted to tell Mark about, because we were talking about too many, other different artists, but not this guy. Anyway, so
This is
congrats
cool.
to Rob. I'm sure Rob, he's maybe owned a piece by St. John before, but I don't know. To
I
me,
think some of this is vine charcoal.
yeah, let's see, what does he write in here? He just he has it as pen and ink, but you're right. The way it's drawn, I mean, how could that not be charcoal in the back or as highlights in here? I can see
Gotta
some of
be.
this being ink. But yeah, very, like you said, very Caravaggio, very very much a classically trained artist in their
The
approach.
anatomy in particular, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So and I bet if I click on this search, well, there you go, 27 pieces. So they're out there.
A third as many as Jaffe.
Yeah, but again, you look at something like that. I mean, what, I don't know what year that, At the Earth's Core, right? That's because ERB has a book with that as one of their covers or one of their frontispieces or something like that. So anyway, very interesting person, I'm sure, who I know absolutely nothing about.
Same. I just heard of him for the first time here, so thank you.
There you go. Oh man, well look, it's right at the 3-hour mark, everybody. I'm not going to 3 hours and 12 minutes at all.
We have to end within 4 minutes, otherwise I owe Mikhail some money.
Oh, okay, well we'll fix that. So, but I think everyone would agree that getting Sergio back on to talk about his time at MAD and even just about him and his career would be a lot of fun. He's such an interesting guy. I've seen him on 4C numerous times, and he's never at a loss for words. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
But again, it was just a great conversation, wasn't it? I mean, as soon as he started talking more about MAD and his experiences there, I mean, that's when you figure he's somebody needs to write a book about him. He probably has a book by now, but if Al Jaffe's got his own book, Sergio's got to have one too.
Yeah,
more Aragones, says Mike. So yeah, I agree. All right, so we don't want Chris Norick owing any money to Mikhail. So Chris, thank you so much for being on. I will try to drink 1 or 2 new beers this weekend and update my Untapped app for you. I will do my best. Work. Yes, exactly. And I look forward to doing this again next week with you. And then I should put it out there. We have a first Thursday coming up in May, and I don't think we've had a guest on for a while. So if anybody
5-4, maybe Jeff Wedding.
That is true. That's a good idea. May the 4th, Jeff Wedding. Where are you, Jeff? You should be our guest selector
next before my birthday.
How many?
Day before my birthday. 5-5.
The day before your birthday. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I should write that down. 5-5? Seriously?
5-5-75.
What? Man, you're going to be an old man. 5-5-75.
I'm going to be.
All right, man. Yeah, put me in, coach, says Jeff. All right, cool. Jeff will be our guest selector in 2 weeks.
Okay. Later, guys.
See you, Chris.
GG.
All right. Well, we don't want Chris owing Mikhail any money. I won't carry this on much any longer. But like I said, I'll get the look for the links in your email tomorrow. Please support the mystery sketch if you can. We have a lot of new artists this time around. I mean, the option of getting Alex Saviuk, Dan Brereton, who am I forgetting? Benitez. I mean, we have a lot of new artists this time around, and Marcus wants the link. I can give you didn't I put the link in there once before? You're just trying to make it so Mikhail gets his wins. I don't know. I don't have the link anymore, or do I? No, I don't have it. I'll put it. It'll be in an email tomorrow. Everybody's going to get it if you're subscribed to the list, which I know everybody is. Email scheduled to go out at 10 o'clock. So look for that, and please support your local artists and get a mystery sketch. Gosh, I love you all. All right, I'm calling it a night. I will see everybody Saturday at 2 o'clock. Joe Linsner will be with me, and then Sunday 2 o'clock. Adam Kubert, and then of course Monday evening with the Amore Brothers and Jiggy. So lots of fun, 3 days in a row, doing some art sales and talk and shop with artists. Who won the Boston Con tickets? It was CW. who I hope has emailed me by now. All right, everybody, have a good night. Talk to you later.